Yeah. In the trenches, I'm Reggie White. I'm all might in the dogfight. You frauds tight, you can't get your call right. I'm all nice, I'm everywhere, you all right. This is a massive thing and you still fall slice. I might say that I'm good, I'm fantastically fitted in every hood. Them things sitting everywhere you wish you could. You get swarmed with the storm, no matter where I begin. You possibly can't pretend that you had a chance.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Vault. We're back with some more exclusive content. Sundaze with the Clink Room, another episode. Mr. Dome Pieces in the house today.
What's good, y'all? What's good, Leon? How are you?
Chilling. Glad to finally get you in here and talk a little bit of Clink. I thought it'd be good timing now that you got your first order pushed through. That's kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
You've graduated to ambassador status, so good to have a fellow ambassador in the house today.
It's awesome.
And the third reason is logistics. We'll cover the logistics a little bit when we cover the fresh colorways. But like I thought it was a perfect timing to get you in here.
Thanks, man. This feels like a weirdly full circle moment because we did HatDesign together.
Yep.
And then now we get to do Sundaze, which is awesome. So I'm excited.
Yeah, I hope it's not too much redundancy with your role too on Monday Evening Critz, but we'll try to
not at all.
We'll try to keep it short, but give people a little bit of a background for you. You, I think, are kind of a unique subject because you kind of started in the realm of HatDesign in the sports licensing world. You've always had an eye for customs. That's what I've noticed for sure.
Thank you.
And then you kind of graduated into the Clinkverse, or moved into however you want to put it, but like you found your way in the Clink, and now you're
like graduating. I think that's a good time.
Okay, and then you make awesome content for Clink now. So like kind of break that down for people. How did that journey from hat collector, hat designer to still designing hats, but collaborating with artists to create your own thing and creating content to promote this wonderful brand? Like how did that start?
So funny enough, I really started like collecting probably of January of last year. So all of this is really fresh as a point of reference. And then to keep it like TLDR, too long didn't read. Right around Hat God 4, that's when I saw a lot of the cap designing stuff, and I was like, "Ooh, that's fun! I want to learn how to do that." And then I did, and then we got into Hat God 5, and we got to have our first interview there. And while this was all kind of going on in the background, I was buying sports stuff, but then I always kept buying Clinks. And over time, I started to realize on a personal level, I just was grabbing the Clinks the vast majority of the time. I really love customs. I think they are super fun. I also will say this too. I'm not like a huge diehard sports fan, but I do like fashion. So there's this kind of like mix where I kind of sit in between, where like I really like the idea of having like a wide variety of hats to wear. But I loved how thematic this is. Yeah. And I always say this to people too, of like, once you get your first Clink in, it's kind of like game over. And it's a very like slow progression. You get one and you're like, this is really cool. And then you get another one and another one and another one and another one. And I've also had, funny enough, and I felt this really personally, I think it just happened in a shorter time window. A lot of guys that I've talked to that love Clink and then also design for Clink, they all tell me the same story. It was like, yeah, dude, I collected MLB and I loved MLB, and then I got tired of it. And then I was like, ooh, minor league stuff. And I loved designing minor league caps. I'm like, ooh, minor league stuff. And then you figure out, you're like, oh, all of the cool minor league teams that I like are just from Brandios. And then you start getting Clinks. And then that's like the hat collector end game. Yeah. As a lot of people have put it to me. So, and then I ended up getting to that point, I would say, rather quickly.
Yeah. And you don't have any sort of like background in like marketing or content creation. You just kind of just did it for the love. And that's what's kind of cool to see your stuff, it feels more organic, not kind of pressed and forced. Like you could still do the like, hey, buy this thing, but still sound like this is like a friend telling you, like, hey, you should check this out.
I'm a big believer in what is it, Bones Brims? Buy what you like, wear what
Mhm.
you like. I'm a
Yep.
big believer in that. I
Mr.
will
Buy what you like.
yeah, Mr. Buy what you like.
Yeah.
I'll advertise for Clink all day long, and I'll send out links and I'll send out DMs to people, and I'll remember too of like if someone has a conversation with me, like, yeah, this one was really cool. Like it's coming up on the dead stock drop.
Yeah.
So don't miss out. And then when it does, like it'll click in the back of my head and I'll send them a link being like, hey, by the way, you don't have to buy it if you don't want to, but I love these. These are really cool. If you like it, get it. If you don't, whatever. It's cool, man.
Mhm. Let's talk a little bit about your first Clink Room hat. So you teamed up with Sound Waves, right?
Yeah, Zach.
So two Clink virgins, I guess. Get to
Yeah.
crack it together, right? So your first one and his first one.
Yes.
What was that like working with him?
Zach is really cool. Soundwave Threads. Go follow him on Instagram. He's a really great guy. Really fun to talk to. That was kind of like a soft pitch of because I love the Japanese inspired stuff.
Mhm.
If that's not prevalent from the giant piece of artwork I have in the back, and I loved Smiles and Cries from 40 Swords, but I wanted something with just the Hanya, just the Oni, because it's with the Kitsune and the Hanya kind of side by side.
Yeah.
And I pitched it to him, and he and I kind of had a little bit of a back and forth. And he was like, "Oh, what if there's like a wave going on in the background and stuff?" And I was sending him all these reference photos, and then it kind of landed to where what we had originally that went up for voting. And it was kind of just like this little perfect storm of me giving notes and then him making adjustments. And then I locked in the colorway. Stone black and green is a really nice, easy colorway. The contrast with the blue wave I thought was really nice on the mask being green and gold instead of doing it red, because originally it was red.
Yeah.
And I was like, what do we try green and gold instead just to give it a little differentiation? It ended up working out really well. And I was really excited. It was the best 31st birthday present, to be honest.
There you go.
Yeah, because that Friday it went up for pre-order, and then the next day was my birthday. So I was like, "This is like the only birthday gift I could have asked for is getting my first Clink in the shop." So
that's cool. You guys had elements of like kind of. I always equate it a little bit, almost like tattoos. Like so, it's like you're like new school, almost like Japanese. You're not really following, a strict band of rules. And that's cool too. It's like you're kind of just going with the flow. And like I saw the hat, I'm like, okay, I can kind of see elements of you within the design and the space and the color blocking, and like I looked at it, I'm like, okay,
yeah,
you're kind of just going for it. I like that stuff. Were there any specific challenges you faced when you're designing this one?
No. So here's the thing, like I don't know how to draw. So all of the actual artistry, that's Zach, and I give him full credit for it. I will never sit here and take any credit for it at all. I helped with the coloring and pitching ideas to get the coloring just right. And then I also pitched the actual colorway for the cap to make it work.
Yeah.
And he just kind of knocked it out of the park, almost out the gate. We had like a little bit of back and forth, just making slight little adjustments and edits, but the base idea didn't really change too much. And I know this with having, actual tattoos and kind of having a lot of friends that are artists, either musicians or they're music producers, or they like to draw or paint or whatever. And I am a big believer in just let them be an artist and give them a concept and just let them kind of go crazy with it so they get to feel that they have a sense of ownership over their art instead of me. I don't want them to draw my version of their art. I want them to draw their version of their art. Like I'll give them a concept and then I'll add in some reference photos or like maybe little bits and pieces to kind of help dial it in. But at the end of the day, when I've pitched anything to a clinker to draw up, I like it. I want them to do it their way. And then we can just make little adjustments here and there.
Yeah, I like that. It's like I kind of do that in relations to how I kind of filled up my sleeves too. So I would add this like one artist. Shout out to Ryan Miranda. I would just have a space, you know, and you know, like when you're building your sleeve, sometimes you don't have like I have like huge pieces and
Yeah,
whatever,
so do
but
I.
like some of the filler spots, I'd be like, all right, you have this much space, you know, and I give him 5 concepts. What fits this the best? And he'll be like,
Yeah,
that one. I'm like, all right, cool, let's
cool.
go. So yeah, that's awesome.
That's exactly what I did for my 2 sleeves with my
Yeah,
tattoo artist. I gave him a really rough idea of like, I wanted a full sleeve. I
mm,
wanted this and this. Have fun,
yeah,
which is like Christmas for an artist to be like,
yeah,
I want this, this, and this, but do it your way and have fun with it.
exactly. That's awesome.
Mhm.
What are some of the trends you see in the custom hat industry, and where do you kind of think it's heading right now?
So customs is interesting. I've been kind of saying this like in the DMs and in
Mhm.
the chats that I do have of like once the big like sports hat retailers start pushing customs, Hat Club's starting to do it. They're starting to get Hillside Goods to come back in, and then I know they've been doing some more of like what is it, Jeff Management and like Pink Bottom, like they have their own customs kind of coming out, and they're starting to like push into it a little bit. But once these really big hat retailers start pushing into customs, I think there's going to be this big shift change, and then also Toppers USA really pushing minor league in a huge way
Mhm.
is I think it's shifting the taste
Yeah,
of the community to find things that are more fun, to find things that are more just out of the box, maybe has more of that cartoony style. You know, like what they put up the tropical storm, right? With the Omaha Storm Chasers, is that
yeah,
correct?
yeah.
Yeah.
That's
And that's
just
like
yeah,
it's a Brandios logo. And I think if more people in general understand that like a lot of these really sick minor league logos come from the same company that does this, I think there'll be a big shift in how people look at Clink, because I've also talked to a lot of guys that love sports caps, and the same thing that I hear a lot is like, oh, the Clink hats, they're too crazy colored. And I'm like, but have you been looking recently? Because a lot of these colorways now are super smooth,
yeah,
and they're not so loud to where like a regular person that just likes fitteds or like sports fitteds would be turned off from them. I've been finding more and more stuff being in really clean colorways, you know, since this is nice,
yeah.
you know, like
Yeah.
this is a really nice colorway. And even when I had a chance, because this just came out, even when I had a chance to show some people this, the hollowed recolor, even a couple sports collectors were like, "Ooh, that might be my first Clink hat. That's nice, man."
Yeah.
So,
Because I see a hat like that, and I just think of Burdeen's. Burdeen's
mhm,
had a pack with my good friend TJ, and it was that same cardinal in black with a gray under,
it's
exact
good.
same color blocking. So, um, yeah, and the thing you talked about with toppers, like I don't think anyone's really pushing custom MILB like they are.
No one.
They do a lot of logo digging and finding
Yep.
um, fun logos and kind of coloring them up in metallics and just being
Hmm.
different. Like for me, a lot of my minor league work is just like kind of doing like minor league repops. I'll find like old 1990s Roy Halladay rookie cards. I'm like, okay, I just want to remake that hat. Like I'm
Yeah,
not thinking about hooking this to a pair of shoes or putting a fit together. I like me, the sports fan, wants to see that hat remade and
I
being
feel
able
it.
to wear it today. So I really applaud what Pierre and Pat are doing over there. They're
Hmm.
just kind of leading the standard, and I like it. And like you said, it's making people who were just like, oh yeah, it's a clink hat. And like, no, okay, well if you like that one, you should not like this one.
Exactly.
Um,
And I think the only other store that I've ever seen push minor league really hard is My Fitteds. The
mhm,
issue with My Fitteds is that John Jay just like doesn't give a flying F, and I applaud him for it. But
yeah,
sometimes those minor league caps come out, and you're like, "Whoa, who is this for?
mhm,
Like, who is gonna wear this?"
yeah,
I love how ridiculous it is, but on the real, like, who's gonna wear this maybe more than once? And it's definitely a conversation I've had with guys that send me like cap mock-ups, and I'm like,
Yeah.
would you wear this more than once?
Yeah.
And if the answer is, or do you have more than one outfit you can wear with this? And if
Yeah.
the answer is no, like go back to the drawing board. And I will give Toppers USA their flowers in the sense that they create dailies. They create good dailies,
Yeah.
things that it's easy to pick up and put on. And it's something you can continually rewear, and finding a balance between a hat that is not only like cool and colorful, but also somehow remains a daily is like, that's a hard balance to strike. And I
Yeah.
give them that. I really do.
I think when you talk about like you're wearing the cap evolution, the evolution of a cap collector, but like when we talk about like evolving from sports fan to minor leagues to Clink Room, it's like back to John Jay. It's like almost like he's like even like crazier than the Clink Room portion. It's like he's been around hats, like so he's like a second generation hat maker, so he's been around hats his whole life. So it's like it's almost like those like crazy like French restaurants where it's like they're just so high level that all you get on your plate is like a little piece of meat, and you're like, holy shit, this is $300. But
and then you taste it and you're like, oh my god.
Yeah, exactly. So it's
and
like
then,
he's like a master at it, but like it's not for everyone, and it's not something like you said that you can wear every day. So
and I will show you a good example of what I mean by like, I love what My Fitteds does. I also
I don't know
love
what hat you're gonna pull out, but
which one is it? Call it.
It's the Colorado Rockies koi fish hat.
Yeah, you already know, but I'm gonna show it anyway.
Yeah, show it.
Like,
yeah, like who's wearing that? That's an excellent hat. That's like close to a masterpiece, if not a masterpiece.
Yeah,
but that's not something like that's like something you almost have to put on a pedestal and enjoy it. It's a great hat though.
It is. It's beautiful. And the use of the different materials and stuff, the fabric, like this is only like you have to have a very specific relationship with New Era as a company to do this.
Oh yeah.
And this is velvet too. The brim is velvet. So when I saw that pop up, I was like, well, I mean, I gotta have it.
Yeah. I love John. I love his work. I've always been a fan of his like creative side, but lately it has been a little bit more like, like if I buy that, I'm putting it in a fucking museum or something. Like it's
It's one of those things where you're like, it's like you fall victim to the hype in a sense. Where you're like, well, this is just so ridiculous, and I'm never gonna see anything like this ever again, most likely.
Yeah, you just want to buy it just to have it.
Yeah, you just want to buy it just to have it. You may not even wear it. You're like, well, it's so cool. Like, how can I not get this?
Yeah. So you talked a lot about like kind of like self-learning in that journey of like, trying to figure out, how to make your own designs and your own cap designs. And you've kind of graduated into collaborating directly with artists as a concept artist. Like what kind of advice could you give to, someone looking to kind of break through and get into this space? Like what sorts of resources are out there for the people to kind of learn and kind of get into this world?
Well, I think this is something that I've talked to a lot of people about, and in order to like break through, you have to have something to like give back in a sense. I always kind of tell people like, imagine you want to go work with a business owner. The business owner has something that you want. Like when we talk about doing like customs or breaking in, the business owner has something that you want to be a part of, but what do you as a person bring to the table? Like, what do you bring? And the easiest route to take is like, if you have a platform, and it doesn't have to be gigantic. Like I don't have a gigantic platform. It doesn't have to be gigantic, but if you have some type of platform or voice or something that you can bring to add value, that's huge. And that's something I always tell people is like, you need to be able to bring something to the table for a business to want to work with you, something that they can look at and be like, okay, well, maybe we can do something here. And it also just takes time. I think a lot of people that I've talked to are like, I want to get into this. How can I do it? And I'm like, well, it's taken me well over a year now doing this daily and putting effort into it daily for it to really turn into something tangible. Um, and it just takes consistent small amounts of daily effort. And that's something I
Mm,
actually learned from my girlfriend, because my girlfriend runs her own business.
right.
And she was the one that encouraged a lot of this too. Shout out to my beautiful girlfriend.
Hmm.
And she's like, it just takes a little bit of effort every day, and it takes consistency. And eventually, you never know how long it will take, but eventually it will turn into something if you keep plugging away at it. So I kept that in the back of my head. And I think the other big thing too is making genuine friendships and relationships with people in the community. And they don't have to be big creators. I'm talking about just having good relationships with people
Yeah.
has also been huge, because that ends up being like your base supporter base. And you know what I mean? Like your foundational supporter base is having real, genuine friendships. I have a group chat that I created, and every morning I always say, "Good morning, everybody. How are you?" And I have conversations with a lot of these guys throughout the day.
That's awesome.
A couple of them, like Weston. Like I talk to Weston all the time.
Yeah.
Um, and that's really what it kind of comes down to. It's just time, consistency, effort, building genuine friendships and relationships with a lot of people. It's networking. There's no cheat code.
Yeah.
Like,
That's something I go through. And sometimes I can admit I probably don't do the best of communicating that part of it, but like people always want like the breakdown or the. I'm Canadian, so I say Cole's notes, but I believe you guys use Cliff notes. So same
yeah,
kind of thing. I don't want to lose the point, but basically, like I just want to make a hat. I'm like, okay, well, all right. Everyone does.
yeah,
I couldn't give you my game plan because you couldn't run those same plays.
mhm,
So I love what you said, and I love the point of like just be a little bit better every single day. It's like almost like that chef mentality. Okay, like
mhm,
you may crash, you may burn, but if you want to be good at this and you want to put the work in, like just that repetition and the consistency. I think that's the big thing that people lose. It's like people do the thing where they'll put something out and they want an immediate result. You're not going to get that immediate result. Or if you
no,
complain that you're not getting the right result that you want, or oh, look at that guy, and like the pocket watching and the being bitter about other people's success, or being weird about not encouraging people around you to do better, like all that stuff adds up and makes you like a bitter person. So I love that point that you made about surrounding yourself with like-minded people and kind of having a team and a support system. Like those are all things that that I think I've self-consciously done, but I don't really think of as a thing. So like that's cool to
mhm.
like hear you kind of rationalize that.
Yeah. And I've kind of noticed this too with some of the DMs I've gotten. They're like, "How can I do this right now?" And I'm
Yeah,
like,
you're not
"You
gonna
can't.
like,
Like it doesn't.
yeah.
Like it
There's no
doesn't work
sign
that
up to be
way."
me. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I think and I relate this to like people that I've known in the music industry, hearing guys be like, "Ah, this dude just got discovered out of nowhere."
Mhm.
And what you don't actually see is the 10 years of hard work and, bullshit and trials and tribulations that they have to go through to then get discovered and kind of come out of nowhere.
Yeah,
Um, so it does take a lot of daily consistent effort. And some people have really busy lives. I've been fortunate to have a lot of extra time on my hands lately. So this was kind of a way for me to take all of my time and energy and I could pour it into this.
yeah.
But even then, I've just learned little techniques too. Like I typically will do a week's worth of content in a day.
Hmm.
Like I'll just knock it all out in one day, so I don't have to feel like I'm constantly like, "Oh god, I have to post something tomorrow. I have to post something
Yeah,
tomorrow." I have
yeah.
it all
That's
ready to
awesome.
go. Staying organized. It's a lot of these very it almost feels like little like common sense things where you're like,
Yeah.
"Well, duh," and I'm like, "Well, yeah, duh." Like that's what I mean. So there's no Krabby Patty secret formula to any of
Yeah.
this. It just takes consistent effort, and being a genuine person, I think, also helps, having genuine conversations. And sometimes it just takes you hitting up a lot of people and just asking how their goddamn day is.
Yeah.
And that goes a long way too.
That's awesome. It's awesome the mentality you have and the kind of that PMA, that positive mental attitude that you have. I mean, knowing a little bit more about you, and we don't have to get too much into it, but like your industry almost caused you to have a second pandemic, almost like not knowing when that was going to end. And we're talking about like the film and TV industry, which you're a part of. We don't need to get too much into it, but like you just kind of going through that again was like, oh fuck, man. Like,
yeah.
And seeing you never complain about it and, you know, stay positive. It was awesome to see, man. Like, so
yeah,
for me, I appreciate that from you.
The way I look back at it now, now that my industry is starting to pick back up again, it was both what's a good way to put it? Like a test of fortitude of like trying to make it through something. And then also it was weirdly also a gift because it gave me, and my girlfriend pointed this out to me. She was like, it gave you the time, energy, and even like emotional energy to be able to pour yourself into something, to turn it into something. And you did. And I essentially did it right before things started to pick back up. It finally flipped over.
Yeah.
So she was like, if you look at it as a gift that you were given instead of this really difficult period you had to go through, that was huge. It was a really huge point of reference that she gave me. And I was like, whoa, holy crap. You're not wrong at all. You're actually very right.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
that's cool. No, because I really got to watch that from you. Because I think when we first met, you had just been put on like leave, I think. Right?
Yeah.
Around-ish
like
that
that.
time.
Yeah.
Like I think the writers had gone on strike, but the actors hadn't yet. So you weren't sure. It was like this like really weird period of time. So to kind of watch you pull through, and we did the Hat God 5 and
I actually remember the very first time I had a conversation with you.
Yeah.
I think you hopped in one of Liam's lives for something.
Okay.
And what was it? Either you were wearing the original Pit Vipers or I was. And I was like, hey, I have that hat. It's the Capologist. I love their stuff.
Yeah.
Like completely unaware. It's also your business too.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, cool. And that's when I really started to pay attention. And I love customs. This is one of the most, I think, hilarious hats that I have. I showed it to my girlfriend and explained it to her, and she chuckled. She's like, that's really funny. I was like, I love this. So
that is, if you go back and look at the Capologist, that's one of our first posts ever. It's still our bio. So like that.
Yeah. The side patch.
Like that definition is still in our biography. And I always thought that it was funny because I always wanted to name it a company that was like a real word, but that didn't exist, you know? So it was like cool to do that. Like they add like an actual capologist apparently is like someone who studies the salary cap in like sports. Yeah. So it's like a designated like job. Like it's funny to think about, like there's actual like capologists out there like that just analyze the NBA salary cap, or you know, like that, like the NHL GM just like, hey man, like can we make this trade? You know, Darcy for fucking Thornton will work, and then this is punching the numbers. Like there's an actual like
there's somebody there. I think there's also like this weird double entendre or like poeticness to it, because it's also like heavily related to sports, and then you also being big in the like sports apparel world, there's also this little like nice little parallel there. So
so we're actually celebrating our 5th year will be this year, so it's
awesome.
Like, it's been a fun ride, and you know, it's been something we've just nurtured and grown, and
man,
it's there's been peaks, there's been valleys, and I mean like no one's small business story is ever going to be like, oh yeah, just fucking straight to the moon. Yeah, so it's been fun, man, and to kind of intersect it with this world is been awesome too. So
I mean, man, dude, I think too, when I think of customs, there's only 3 stores that come to mind. It's Clink, you guys, and then Noble North. Like that's really it.
Well, you mentioned it too. So like Hat Club's coming back to it a little bit. So they were really heavy into like this like design collective pre-pandemic, pre-hype beast days. But those at the peak, like peak Hat Club with Design Collective, they were selling out
like
like
hotcakes.
Yeah, so they were doing like recolors of Clink Room. So they were the first like Fresh Colorway place to do it. They were having like hockey leagues. They had a roster of just killers, and these people would work. Sometimes they'd be clinkers too. So
Yep.
you had Ephra with them. I'm thinking of Dankadelic, Hillside Goods,
Dionic?
Chad.
Was Dionic?
Yeah, Dionic even was doing like different Octo Sluggers, and yeah, it was good. And then now it's cool to see him kind of jump back into it. Pink Bottom Just is releasing his logo variations now, and
that's what I saw the other day. The P. I was like, that's cool.
Yeah, so it's cool, and to kind of try to take a little bit from Casey, like spending a little bit of time with Casey. Casey's more of a, he doesn't like think of scarcity. He doesn't, think of everyone as competition. I think like that's a good way to kind of look at it. Like if everyone's strong and everyone's hitting, it just means, number one, when you're creating, you have to knock it out because the bullshit ain't gonna get you through. So
no, especially with Clink, you'll get the boot.
Yeah.
Yeah. It won't even go up to vote if it's not even happening.
Iron sharpens iron. And then at the same time, like you never know where the stuff crosses and intersects. Like kind of pitting stores and brands against each other, I don't think is the good place to be. We're all kind of just in the world, like just treat everyone with respect, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And Casey knows like everybody.
Yeah.
He is super tied in. Even he kind of mentioned it, I would say like offhandedly when I got to meet him and got to talk to him. He's like, oh yeah, sometimes Pierre hits me up and he just wants some snapshots of the minor league sketches so he can post them. I'm like, oh yeah, sure, whatever, man. Or even him talking about, was it John? It's like T800. Yeah, he was talking to me about John a little bit too, knowing a lot of the Hat Club guys. And I was like, this Casey comes off like this guy just knows everybody and not a single person ever has a bad thing to say about him. And I'm also in that group of like, I literally don't have anything bad to say about him.
Well, when you start breaking down the teams and the influence he's had with those teams,
it's crazy.
It's insane. Like you can kind of tell now, like you can kind of see his art style, him and Jason, like you can kind of get a sense of like which ones are their clients.
It's so specific. And I think a few of them I kind of knew. And then a couple others I was a little surprised because I think if they were they looked great, but they didn't have that like classic Clink style of like the rebrands. So like when I think of that classic kind of Clink look, the Rocket City Trash Pandas, like that looks like Casey's work.
Yeah.
The the Yard Goats, the Hartford Yard Goats, that really looks like that. But I think one of the surprises was the Eugene Emeralds.
Oh, I would say that's not a surprise. Like I look at that and Emeralds, Chihuahuas, Lehigh Valley.
Yep, the Iron Pigs.
There's just so many.
The Mighty Muscles.
Yeah.
Oh man, what's
Tucson Timber Rattlers?
They did the Timber Rattlers too.
They did Timber Rattlers. Jersey Shore, Blue Crabs, Midland Rockhounds. There's so freaking many, man.
The Frisco Rough Riders too is another one, and I'd have to look at the list. He sent me the list.
Fresno,
I know
Fresno Grizzlies.
The updated new age Fresno Grizzlies logos that everyone's loving. That is also from them too, and it's a piece of content that I've been wanting to work on, and I've been trying to figure out how to do it. But there's such a laundry list. And I know from my own personal experience, and I kind of mentioned this earlier, is when you find out that all of the really cool minor league teams that you love so much, they all come from the same creative minds. It's like they got me on the hook. And I think just started reeling me in, being like, oh, it's all Brandios.
Yeah.
Did you know about the theme night logos too? The Montgomery Kimchi's, that's Brandios. It's on their Instagram page. Or even the Myrtle Beach Mako, like that's from them too. It's crazy. And then you just see the amount of influence they've had and you go, oh wow, well there's something here. Why don't I go check it out? Let me go get one. And then that one turns into 100.
Yeah, exactly. I would have to check myself from acting like a fanboy, sometimes I'll be asking him specific questions like, "Oh, is it like pitching, this team or whatever?" And to even know that like Clink Room kind of came out almost from the ashes or from the rubble of all the like logos that weren't used, and that's part of their story too. So I mean, it's awesome, man.
It was a highlight when I got to like be like, yeah, Leon told me the macadamia nut story, but I wanted to hear it fully from you.
Oh, okay.
He's like, oh, you know about that? I was like, yeah. And he gave me the full rundown of how they were out there like doing some work for like a wood bat league. There we go. For like a guy in Hawaii. And he had the macadamia nut factory. And then the factory owner was explaining like, oh yeah, we actually make all of our money from all of the broken macadamia nuts, and then we cover them in chocolate, and that's where we make all of our money now. And then Casey and Jason then had to go to Japan for a week for something else, and they were both of them the entire time, kind of like Charlie Day from Always Sunny, be like, "What is our macadamia nut shells? Oh my god!" And just sitting on it for a week, and I was like, "That's so cool." That the Clink just kind of came out of the ether, from all of this unused stuff, and then also being able to hold the original cork bottom hats in hand because he has them at the office. I was like, oh, history.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
I don't know if he wants me saying this on air, but I pitched him like, just bring those back with regular hats, man. Just stop fucking around with it. And he's like,
the actual fabric they used for the cork bottom.
Yeah, it's done. It's finished.
But he hand cut them and sent them to the factories. He has a roll of it in the office.
Oh, so that's why it's finished. Okay. I was going to say, they can't even get that back. Okay. All right. Fair enough. I told him, man, just bring those back, man. Just casually bring those logos back. But he was like, yeah, it's a whole thing of licensing and whatever. I'm like, okay, whatever, man. Like, cool. Just know that I would buy the shit out of those hats.
Oh, dude, I think everybody would. At least if you're into Clink and you see those cork bottoms and like it's like a if you know kind of thing, you're like, oh, let me get one, Yeah, absolutely, man.
Exactly. But all right, I'm sure people are upset that we're kind of nerding out on the history of
Sundaze.
It's Sundaze.
It's Sundaze, man. It's Clink centric. Let us nerd out. A lot of people probably don't even know a lot of the stuff we're talking about too. It's like in informational.
It's in ethos, yeah.
Yeah.
We'll put it out again. But Clink had a big week, so let's start and talk about it. Copper. So that's Fresh Colorway. So we discussed this a little bit. I believe some off air, some on air, but this one, I think they haven't done a Fresh Colorway in a minute. But I remember when Casey was telling me about the Fresh Colorways initially, this was not kind of what I thought he was going to go for, but I am so happy he did. This is a specific color palette applied to 6 designs, and this is kind of like the Hat Club way of doing drops, where it's like one color palette across multiple hats. So I like this in the sense that like, well, number one, if you like if the color hits and you like the colors, okay, cool, it's a hit. But I like that in the sense that like let's say he were to just do one of these hats, it eliminates the I love the colorway, but I don't like the design. You got 6 options here. Hopefully you'll find something that you'll like. I don't really see like a thematic theme here. He just picked logos that look good in copper. So I'm not mad at that. So what are your initial thoughts?
One, these look really good in the sunlight. I'll say that right now.
The metallic copper helps.
Oh god, the metallic copper, and I got Northern Aurora right here, and it's across the board too. The nice like copper border on the Clink side patch, and then even the Kong.
Oops, hold on. Let me make you big here.
Perfect. And then even the Kong, and the flag are that's all metallic copper, and these are beautiful across the board. It's a good, solid, super wearable colorway. And I think the logos that he did pick are very strong. In particular, Samurai Kong, which I don't have yet. and I want it. It's because it's like the OG Samurai Kong. Like that's
Mhm.
definitely like if you know, you know. And then funny enough, the Northern Aurora, the original Northern Aurora, was the first pre-order I ever put in for Clink. Was
Oh,
this one?
nice.
This one is special to me. And then also, if you know art in general, for whatever reason, this really reminds me of Starry Night.
Yeah.
Color
Very glow
palette.
action.
Yeah, color palette wise. So it's a really, really beautiful piece. I think my only small criticism is since they're all in the exact same colorway,
Mhm.
there is a part of me that would say for maybe a lot of potential customers, people will just buy the one that they like instead of potentially buying multiple that are kind of in this variation, like the Topanga pack. I
Yeah.
liked the Topanga pack a lot because color palette wise was all the same, but each hat was a little bit different. And I could even, as a customer, I was like, ooh, I want this one and this one and this one because I like this palette.
Mhm.
But man, I will say the introduction of tasteful use of metallic threading on Clink hats is something that I've wanted for a while now.
Yeah.
And now we have it. And do they look real good outside in the sun?
Yeah.
I've gotten a chance to kind of like take them out and take some product shots and shoot some reels and stuff with these like really in the sunlight. And man, they look real good in hand.
Yeah. You have the geographical advantage of living in California, being
Where it's
so
nice
close to the, well, no, just being so close to the Clink warehouse and
Mhm.
getting the hats in hand. So, um, I've had the privilege of having the hats in hand for the last couple of drops. Me being in Canada, Canada Post is not as reliable, so I do not have any of these in person. But I believe I ordered the Samurai Kong and Ghost Army. I want to say, I could be wrong.
So good.
But those were my two picks from this one. I really wanted the Scorpions, but I could not swing three. I feel like you're either buying like one or two
Mhm.
or 4 or 5. You know, there's like nothing like you're really in between.
There's
You're
no
buying
middle
one or
ground.
4. Really?
You're like, I'm either going to get one or all of them.
Yeah,
And I don't
exactly.
know.
Exactly.
I would definitely say personal taste. It's definitely going to be Northern Aurora.
Okay.
And also, you know, Samurai Kong.
Yeah.
The Samurai Kong looks so good.
So
It
for
looks
me,
good.
I for whatever reason, I don't know what it is. I've just never taken to the silhouette backdrop landscape style.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, like those two were automatically out. But looking
Fair.
at them here, they're really strong. I don't know if there's a weak hat in the bunch. Like the Fiesta one is
Like,
freaking awesome.
yeah, there's
The
no
the Scorpion one is so cool. It's like it's got the Phoenix Coyotes, Kachina 90s look, but then it's more of a Arizona animal, it being that it's a scorpion. I don't know, more or less, whatever, but you know, it's another Arizona animal. You know, we've seen the Tucson Roadrunners do a logo in that style.
Mhm.
We've seen the Coyotes done in that style, and that kind of Arizona Scorpions. I mean, you know a lot about the Scottsdale Scorpions too.
Yes.
I know you do. So I think like that's like the like a really good thematic
Pick.
tie together. Yeah,
Mhm.
Brad killed that one. And yeah,
Mildly
Ghost Army. That was an early 2.0 Ephra hat.
Yes.
I just got to them, but the
The
pin,
44.
the
Yeah.
44 pin that goes on top of the other one. It's just such an iconic design. He killed it.
That is classic Clink.
Yeah, and anytime Yakobo goes Japanese, like I mean, come on, man.
I know.
What are we talking about?
Two colors.
Yeah.
Two colors, and it's what I would consider to be an absolute Clink hit.
Yeah. So like what are we talking about? But I think it's an awesome pack. I mean, you let us know in the comments, viewers, if you agree, disagree. I know there's gonna be some side patch dissenters and some people that don't care or some people that are either way, but I don't mind the side patch. They're not making you pay any more money, so it's like it can't go anywhere. Sometimes I am in favor of you leaving it blank, but like for me, I'm just so used to seeing Clink hats without a side patch that, like, to me is like, oh, you're getting a little extra. Like, okay, cool. I don't think it takes away anything from the design.
No, I don't think it takes away either. And I've had like sports guys reach out to me when I post some of the Clink hats that have side patches, and they're like, "Oh, dude, Clink does side patches. These are sick."
Yeah, I think that was
And
the point of them. The
yeah,
point of doing side patches.
and to be honest, some of the like the Clink classics, like this
Yeah,
this
that's a good
comes
thing.
out smooth, man.
Yeah,
This
you kind of
embroidered.
have to. We'll cover that shock drop, but you kind of have to earn that patch now, which is pretty cool.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah,
because man, oh man, and even we'll show off Ray Gun because this was from the other week, but like, dude,
yeah,
this is like smooth and it's
yeah.
perfectly sized. Everything is extremely legible. Um, man, this was from Ray Gun from the other week, but I'm a big fan of this one.
Yeah,
The Clink Classics, man.
yeah. You kind of have to earn that one. It's like a
Mhm.
badge of honor now.
Yeah, if you get a fresh colorway of the Clink Classic on it, oh, I had a hit.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Now let's cover the last call. So this last call is a little bit different in that it was the Bat Week
Mm-hmm.
last call. So all these were different bat designs. The majority of them do glow in the dark.
Oh,
I think
fun.
the Batsburg and Batman, I believe, both glow in the dark. I don't know. I don't think Bat Crazy does, but that one it's got that like that. I mean that color combo will always forever work for me. Black,
Mhm.
purple, neon green. That like screams kind of like that Nola kind of voodoo
Oh
thing.
yeah.
But what are your thoughts on these three that we have up here?
If of these three, if I was to pick only one, it would be Bat Crazy. I
Yeah,
do like Matthew Bell. I like his art style and I like his work. I like how he really nailed the what would be the word? Like it's not innuendo, like the turn of phrase, like, oh, like you're bat shit crazy.
yeah, batshit crazy. Yeah, it's kind of
Um,
pun, right?
it's kind yeah, pun. Thank you. That was the word I was looking for. Um, I like how he really nailed the pun. Purple is also my favorite color. So if I was to pick one of these three, it would be Bat Crazy. No offense to the other designers, but I think the color scheme and then also how fun and striking he made just the bat head,
Hmm.
and then with that pop of neon green is just that's a good that's a nice good hat.
Yeah, I'm with you. The one if I were limited to one, I'm picking batshit crazy.
Mm-hmm.
But the sports fan in me wants to acknowledge how cool Batsburg is. It's kind of like that
Yeah.
Jolly Roger Pittsburgh kind of thing. So that's pretty damn cool. And Batlin is probably the most wearable everyday
Yeah,
hat
it's a
of the
daily.
bunch. I mean, like just black gray, like you cannot go wrong
Yeah.
with that. That's kind of like a scene in a Batman almost, like a
Mm-hmm.
Brooklyn Bridge with the bats. But yeah, these three solid
Super good.
additions.
I'll
Oh,
even
yeah.
touch back once more before
Mhm.
we jump. I will say
Yeah.
this, and that I had a conversation with Aaron the other day because I love Aaron. Shout out to Househead.
Mhm.
Even he brought up to me, and this was a good point that there's he wants to see more of stuff like the Batsburg, these kind of like classic Clink, like sports logo esque
Yeah.
ideas, and that's
Yeah.
something that he himself has brought up to me, being like, "Oh, I wish we had a little bit more of this." And he's like, "I love the very artistic style stuff, which is kind of that shift that I guess Clink has seen over the years. It's been shifting more into this really artistic style." But he's like, "Man, I really miss those concepts and ideas where they just look like a theme night cap logo adjacent
Yeah.
style." So
A
now I
cool
think
mascot. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I think Batsburg really hits that note.
Yeah, I think part of that what he's talking about is due to just the influx of skill. So like now
Mhm.
it's like you got to be such a rad artist and a concept and the theme it has to be colored right. Like there's so many things that it's just like if you're not doing all those things, you're not just gonna get votes or you're not gonna be seen. So
Mhm.
I think part of the problem is like they're all just trying to beat each other, and we've gotten to the point where it's like this freaking little masterpiece on a 6x3, canvas. So
I
it's like
know.
sometimes like I don't know if you're a part of the different online communities like the Discord or the Facebook, but like some of these people right now, I feel like they're just begging for like a good letter logo. Like
Mhm.
they just want something, whatever, or
They
like
just
what
want
Aaron
something
said, like just give
simple.
me something sports. Like we've moved so far away from the sports stuff. So we'll see kind of where it goes and where the trend kind of happens. But I think a lot of the discourse happens either on a platform like this or a platform that you're a part of, like Monday Evening
Mhm.
Crits, where kind of just artists converge. They can hear the feedback. They don't take anything personal,
No.
or they read the comments and they just really just get better. And I think that's kind of accelerated the Clink art. But then there's times where it's like, yeah, just pull it back and give me something simple. So there's always push and pull.
Simple and effective is a
Yeah.
hard it's a hard balance to find.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're essentially asking them to make it better with less.
Yes.
So it's like, oh fuck.
Yeah.
Like,
How do I make this better but also make it less at the same time? And
yeah,
that's really hard to do.
yeah. There's one guy I can think of that does a really good job of that, and that's
Clifton?
Rick Clifton. He's kind
Yeah.
of mastered the less is more, and we'll cover more of him later, I think. But
Mhm.
we got Bat Boy from Dusk and Hangups. What are your thoughts here?
I think Bad Boy hits that classic mascot
Mhm.
aesthetic that I think a
Yeah.
lot of people have been looking for. I give a lot of love and attention now to 14.8 because this is a thing that I really like to see is there are certain Clink artists where if you were to just send me a photo of their concept with nothing else, just the picture, I'd be able to pick out who it is from a lineup. And 14.8 does that very consistently. He has an extremely unique art style. It's consistently it has like a specific look to it across the board. And he's also a really nice guy. And he and I have had a chance to talk a lot. So I quote Creaturezoid for this because Creature really put me on to 14.8. And man, dude, this one from Dusk is also the other one I would grab from this 6-pack lineup. For my own personal taste,
Yeah.
I am a big fan of Neil. This is really, really cool. And I'm really happy this one went through.
It's almost like that is another example of like the less is more. There's no crazy textures to it. There's no like yeah, like you look at Hangups right beside it. It's got like this crazy light source and illumination and shadows and detail. He's just like, no, I'm just gonna make a rad hat.
Yeah,
You know?
and it works. I've been liking his stuff more and more and more, and I'm happy to see this one go through. And
Yeah.
it's nothing against hangups. Like this is a really cool concept. It looks great. It's probably going to embroider crazy, to
Mhm.
be honest. I just know from my own personal taste, it would be from Dusk for sure,
Yeah.
especially just from kind of understanding how the swatches look digitally. I am going to potentially assume that the moon is metallic gold just
Yeah.
from that shade. And
Yeah.
then so is the outline on that Clink Room side patch. So if this also has a little bit of shine to it on top of it, like a little tasteful metallics, like this thing's gonna be sweet.
Yeah. It's almost like a faux back.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Bat Boy's like a throwback to like the old 90s and 80s, and then his
Yep.
is like a throwback to like the 50s or 60s almost.
Yeah, he has
Um,
this really specific gothic art style.
yeah,
It's
that's
so
right.
cool.
With all that being said, for me personally, I think Eileen Hangups is just so cool. Like he's showing off all sorts of skill here, like that illumination, that kind of light source, that yellow light source. The bat is detailed. Um, I don't love all graphite hats, but I mean, for this in this situation, it kind of works because that's like the
Mhm.
color of like a cave.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. That's just high level craftsmanship there. I really like that one. I think it's cool.
If you can somehow nail lighting with embroidery, like that's
Mm,
on a whole other level.
yeah.
I'll give Ryan Simmons a lot of love and attention too
Mhm.
for Forest Ray's Koi, which I've been, weirdly showing off here and there this entire time. And
Yeah.
then now Dangerous Waters and being able to somehow make lighting work with threading, which
Yeah.
is the most wild thing to me.
Well, when I had him on the show, he talked about one of his early bosses telling him like, so he's like an animator, but
Mhm.
he's just like every cell in the movie has to be picturesque. Like it's got to be the perfect pose on each one. So like kind of like when he told me like that was his mentality in his work life, to see like him doing Clink Room hats is just like, all right, well, he's just gonna pick the best pose for
Mhm.
each thing and just nail it. So it's like really cool to watch his evolution kind of happen too.
Oh yeah. And there's also just like a fundamental level of understanding how this stuff comes out.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think, unless if he was already a seasoned clinker, which I know that he is, but I don't think somebody that isn't already a seasoned clinker can do stuff like this, to have to visualize how like the shadowing of the
Yeah.
koi fish is sitting here, or how you can really squeeze in so much detail with 7 colors.
Hmm.
Every time I put on Forest Rays, I stare at that front design and I'm like, dude, how did he fucking do this? Oh my
Yeah,
God, man.
exactly.
So
Exactly. But all right, cool. So that's your last call. All 6 of these designs will be put into production midnight Eastern. So get your pre-order in. This is your last call for the Bat Week. And
it's
yeah, it's
good.
been cool to see sort of them mixing up the things, doing thematic drops, doing more um, some weeks off, so you can kind of really get uh, the uh, the entries to kind of build up and have really really strong weeks.
Oh yeah. And I
Yeah.
like these thematic drops. I'm not gonna lie. The first one that they did was the Four Horsemen of the Apocalypse.
Hmm.
And that was one of those weeks where I was like, whoa, my wallet is not
Yeah.
okay right now.
Yeah.
Never have I ever seen a clink week where like all 6 was like something I would spend money on, and I
Mhm.
actually really had to tailor it down to 2.
Yeah.
Um, so I like
It
these
breaks
theme
up the
weeks.
monotony too.
Yeah. Don't I like variety, don't get me wrong, but every once in
Mhm.
a while we're like, theme week, it's this. That's cool. I
Yeah.
think it's very fun.
He did that a couple times, real like a long time ago in the past with like dogs. So like
Mhm.
he did like a dog league launch one time. I
That's
think one
cool.
time was like tacos. Another time he did a Clink Vision thing where we brought on each designer, gave them a theme, walked them through the process, picked the colors. Like there's been like cool interactive stuff in the past. Hopefully we'll get more of that in the future.
Yeah. It sounds like fun.
Hell yeah, it was a blast filming that. Now we'll get into the shock drop. So these shock dropped, I believe, Wednesday night.
Yes.
For those watching it on Sunday, so Wednesday, 2 Clink classics been brought back. So Hollowed and Frenchies. Um, I saw which one you decided. So does that make you more of a cat person than a dog person, or that's just happenstance that you went with the cat?
I actually love just the colorway and
Okay.
the design. I wouldn't necessarily call myself a cat or a dog person. I think I
Hmm.
would definitely say I love both equally, but I think
Okay.
for my own personal like taste and color palette, this like nice darker red on black. I think this is Cardinal, if I'm not
I believe it's
mistaken.
Cardinal. Yeah.
Yeah, Cardinal black, gray bottom. This is like a sports colorway. I would call this like
Okay.
a really classy like sports cap colorway
Yeah.
with clink, and that pop of like neon green here, and then on the side is just pretty A1 in my opinion.
Yeah.
Um,
New Era confuses me. So to me, that is maroon, but then they call the maroon
like
the
it's like
burgundy.
yeah, it's
So
like burgundy's maroon, and then this
yeah,
is cardinal. Yeah.
yeah. But beautiful hats. I've been a long collector of the Jason V Frenchie series, so I think I
Mhm.
have that one on. I don't even remember.
The
Um,
Frenchie series is one of the most popular too. There's so
yeah,
many.
yeah. I love the way he did it, but
Mhm.
like, and it works out because one of my best friends, Matt, has
He's got a
a
Frenchie.
Frenchie this color too.
Awesome.
Shout out to Ray, beautiful dog. But like I would love to see it done in other Frenchie colors, black, blue, you
Mhm.
know, brindle, all different types of, But I love this one. I'm not mad at this one because it looks like it reminds me of my my friend Matt's dog, so I'm
Oh.
okay with it. I'm cool with it, but I think it just would expand. I don't even know how it would look in a darker color, but
It would work.
yeah,
It would definitely work. Some like what would be the word? It's just like some dark grays. I think would
Mhm.
end up making it look pretty nice. I
yeah,
mean, even
almost like a pewter color, right?
yeah, and man, even this fresh colorway, like this is so wearable too. I think this is like
Yeah,
khaki. I think it's khaki. It's
might be
either khaki or
camel.
camel.
Yeah, khaki or camel, one of the two.
Yeah, camel on black, khaki on black is just like it's super smooth, especially if you wear a lot of earth tones.
Yeah,
As a person, like this is a super smooth colorway. It's a super smooth cap, and there's also a lot of like endearing character to the design itself. Versus like hollowed gives me more of spooky season kind of a
yeah,
vibe.
yeah.
Whereas this is like any day of the week you could put this on and it's super fun and it's super adorable. And I would say this is one of those Clink caps that would have people stop and ask you where you got it from.
Yeah.
Just because the design is just so like applicable and has a really huge mass appeal, especially if you love dogs.
The good thing about this version of hollowed is like the purple version, the green and purple version almost feels like you have to, not have to, but like would be more apt to wear that in like October, fall. This one, I feel like you just wear it whenever.
Yeah.
So there is definitely more wearability towards that one. But
Oh yeah.
an awesome drop. I haven't checked what the stock levels are now, so make sure you guys run over and to cop, because I know some of the shock drops
They go
sell out
quick.
quick. Yeah.
I think the quickest shock drop I saw go was the Passport Sakuranami. That was like one of the quickest ones I saw
That
go.
was a good hat, man.
It's so good. It's my favorite.
Because that's like the Hat Club's Fuji colorway.
That probably top 3 for hats of the year for 2024. I already have my hat of the year picked out for 2024.
I messed up. I never got part of my French. I should have got it. That's one of
part
my
of my
regret.
French is good.
Okay, it's still pretty good sizes on on the Frenchies. So
is hollowed still good too?
Let me see. Hollow.
I think the red.
Hollowed has less sizes available.
Yeah.
So 7, 6, 7, 8, 1/8, 1/4, 3/8, 5/8, 3/4. Big size is completely gone.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. These
8 and 7/8 is toast, and 7 and 7.5 are toast.
It's the red.
Yeah, it's a good colorway.
Yeah, it is. It's a really good colorway.
Yeah, I think if that Frenchies was done in a new color, like the dog itself, it would be over. It'd be over. Yeah, but flawless logo nonetheless. I think the most they've ever changed is the flower color in that one.
I mean, if it isn't broken, don't fix it. You know what I mean?
No, 100%.
Yeah, it's also like I think the face on Frenchies, it's all one solid color, right?
Looks like it, yeah.
Yeah, so I know with some French bulldogs there's like spots and stuff too, so it'd be kind of hard to potentially work a lot of that in.
Yeah, it would have to be redigitized if you wanted to do the mouth one color and then whatever. But yeah,
man, these are good.
You must really love that dog because he's got like 30 different ones of that.
He probably has one.
No, 100%. I forgot if I asked him. I'm pretty sure he does.
Yeah, there's no way he doesn't have a Frenchie if he's made this many. Because I even went through I just go on the website and type in Frenchies, and you just see this list. You're like, oh Jesus.
Yeah, 100%.
He's so cool, man.
Jason V's one of the goats for sure.
God, and he's done, man. If we're to gush about Jason V for a minute, he's also done like a lot of tropical stuff too, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Like he just had Coco come out, and he
I
did
also
Hot
think
Ice.
He's one of the like hired mercenaries too. So like if they need something done in a pinch, he's one of the guys. Like he's one of Casey's like guys.
Oh yeah, I can definitely do. He has a range for art style.
100%.
Yeah, I even searched up his name, and it came up 4 pages worth of stuff for Clink.
Yeah, not many people can outdo that.
No, the volume and the quality is really, really, really good.
Mhm.
One of the ones I slept on when I wish I didn't was Hot Dice. I don't know why I didn't grab Hot Dice. That one is so nice.
I have it here. That was so good. And I don't think that'll ever get approved again, by the way.
No,
Unfortunately.
it's so good. Well, because gambling.
It's the green stuff, I think. Even though it's
Really?
legal. Yeah. The
Oh
promotion of the 420s and stuff.
God! Oh, it's like a
You never
oh.
realized that? You never saw that?
No, I didn't. When I looked up I'm just like, oh, Hot Dice. Like when you're, because I used to play craps. Like I love craps.
Mhm.
It's my favorite game. It's my favorite table game to play. So when you got Hot Dice, you're making money.
Yeah.
I never got that I didn't know that was also a reference to that as well.
Well, the hat's green.
Yeah.
So, hold on. The hat's green, 420.
Oh my
And
gosh,
then the smoke cloud is a leaf.
that's so funny. I didn't even pick that up. That's
Yeah.
hilarious.
That's what I'm saying. It probably will never get approved again.
That had to have snuck through. Like,
I mean, you can't wear a 3/8.
I could fit into a 3/8.
Yeah. I mean, don't mind this. This is Canadian pricing. But,
Yeah. Oh my God, I know you guys get slammed with the conversion,
dude.
But
you feel rich when you come over and bring your Freedom Bucks over, right? You're like, $100 gets me what?
Yeah. But I will say for retail, a lot of your guys' prices are adjusted to your retail prices are adjusted to semi-match the value in the States, depending on what it is.
It's worse. It's worse. Usually it's not cheaper to buy. Plus we have tax too. Yeah, it's not cheaper to buy.
That Toronto, that tax, that 13%, I was like, whoa. And I thought LA was a lot, man. Whoa.
Don't get me started. Yeah, like buying something for like going out and eating. Okay, we'll rant a little bit, but going out to eat, let's say it's like $14. It's like $30 by the time you're done with the drink and the tip and the tax. And, yeah, it's a thing now. Yeah,
dude, trust me. Even here in LA, it's things are getting expensive, especially rent.
Yeah, I hear you. All right, let's go on. So now the main event, the crits. So we're back to 20.
Cool.
I'm not completely sure if we'll be back to crits next week or not. It's actually worked out perfectly that every kind of semi-vacation I've taken or even just time away has matched Casey's weeks off, so it's been perfect. We didn't even plan it that way.
It just worked.
But I'm at the end of my vacation rope potentially, so I don't know if he's gonna be. I don't know. I haven't even talked to him about it, so we'll figure that out. But Cat on the Field by Clink Room. What are you thinking?
This is cool. I like the colors a lot. I'm assuming this is some type of sports reference.
Yeah, I think it's when the cat ran on the field, so that's why it looks like a Batterman too, almost.
Oh yeah, it does. It has the classic like Batterman shape to it. That's okay. That's really cool. I don't
know what specific game he's referring to, but I know that this has happened multiple times.
Got it. This is something I've been liking more and more with Clink. That's a really wearable colorway, and the logo is where you get the fun, colorful Clink energy. So I love that first and foremost. I think my only criticism is that these whiskers might be too thin.
Okay.
For stitching. But other than that, even picking up on that, the fact that this is like a reference to the Batterman, I think this is really cool.
Yeah, you can kind of get the sense that this is some sort of baseball hat because to me, the Batterman and then it's blocked like a Florida Marlins / Mariners hat, got a gray under. So it's got like the elements of a baseball hat, but then the funkiness of Halloween. It's got the Volt energy to it. I don't know if I love the fuchsia and kind of like that teal in there. I think it kind of works against it with the Volt. So I would play with
blue
the colors a little bit. I would almost want to see it done in the Batterman colors.
Oh, like really? Classic baddie?
Yeah, classic baddie. Have the white outline. Have the white outline around the cat. And just kind of go from there. I don't know if that would help or hurt. It'll probably hurt the approval.
But, yeah, because it'd be like, well,
Yeah, but like this one, it it has all the elements of like a classic baseball hat, but then the colors just make it so crazy. So I don't know, maybe that's what he was going for, like just to make it kind of different and kind of clinky, you know.
Yeah, I think this is a definite shift I've seen. Crazy colored logo, smooth colorway. That's definitely been the shift I've been seeing with Clink. And then I'm also pretty positive that Leif, if I pronounce it correctly, I think it's Leif.
This is
Leif. Okay.
Leif Buckland.
He's definitely a baseball fan because I have Crowned. And I know he's been leaning into like doing ideas that are references to baseball.
Hell yeah. Yeah, he's a big sports guy.
Yeah, it's like literally it's in the background. I have it right here.
I have it here too somewhere.
It's so pretty.
Yeah.
And it also perfectly color matches to my University Blue Air Force Ones, which is tight.
Nice. All right. Good job, Leaf.
Yeah.
Number 2, Break the Mold.
This is awesome.
Bool Props.
This is funny. This is that mascot style that we were talking about earlier.
It kind of feels like Super Mario kind of
almost like a Goomba.
Yeah, Goomba shaped, but he's breaking the mold and coming out of the jelly. What do you think? Or the jelly mold, I guess.
Yeah,
breaking that.
It's popping out of the Jello mold.
It's not a lot of breaking though. That's my only thing.
Yeah, I don't see the breaking portion of the name. No. I will say just based on the design itself, I think this is kind of cool and kind of fun and has that mascot theme night kind of vibe that we were kind of touching base on earlier. I think the lines look really good. I think this would embroider pretty nicely. Everything looks pretty thick. Nothing looks too thin. I think what is really hurting this is that this colorway might be a little too funky for some people. I think even just making the switch of like making the brim and button black and then just taking this like cardinal red and just keeping that as the under might make this a little bit more wearable for people, or even putting the crown a neutral color, because I think this much green, I think that you kind of get lost in a sea of green here. And if this had like a neutral crown color, it would really just let that nice limey green just like explode out in front of you.
Yeah, there's a couple ways you could play it. You can either do it on a solid, black is cheat code for color pop. You just make this on a black crown, you'll have that kind of color working with you. You can also make this a mono potentially. You just go all cardinal and then have that green under. That could work. But you want there to be some type of contrast between the crown and the main subject color. I think that's where he kind of falls a little bit short. I mean, art-wise, it's cool. It's funky. It's kind of like graffiti, popish. I just don't see it working well with the name. And who knows? I mean, maybe I'll do well in voting, but I definitely do think the color blocking of the hat needs to change a little bit. I do like the colors he chose, like the kind of beetroot green. You probably want to go grander for this one, just to kind of, because it's so funky up top, you just want it like chill at the bottom.
Yeah. Me personally, I'm actually not the biggest fan of the gray under. So my head, I would try to figure out how to work in
the green,
like a funky UV. Like if you kept it pretty neutral up top, and you go like gray black if you want to keep it hyper neutral, or mono black, but work in that like funky lime green on the under.
That could work.
That's definitely I think that would really hit. Or you do like black cardinal with the funky green under. That would look really cool too.
Yeah. I do think though that we're in agreement. Though you got to get the green off the green on the front though to kind of make it pop a little bit, because right now that's such a pop color, but because it's like almost the same color, you don't see it. Yeah,
it doesn't really what's the word I want to use? It doesn't really like jump out at you.
Exactly. All right, but good work.
It is good.
Bool Props. Oops. Moving forward, we got Dark Side Jacobo.
Cool.
I didn't peg him for a potential Pink Floyd referencer, but it might not be. It's the dark side, and that's a moon. So,
This is doubly cool for two reasons. One, I didn't even my brain didn't even go to the Pink Floyd reference, but
Okay.
this is definitely a Pink Floyd reference. But this is also a part 2 to the solar eclipse hat in my own head.
Mhm.
That's what this reminds me of, is just the part 2 to what did he call the solar eclipse hat that he did? And it sold super well. I'm trying to remember. This kind of gives me that part 2 to that idea he did. Let's see. Oh no, was it Sierra Gons? Maybe I have people mixed up. I think maybe it was Sierra. Excuse me.
The problem is so many people have done. Oh, Ring of Fire. That's Sierra.
Ring of Fire. It is Sierra. Never mind.
Yeah.
Immediately, that's where my brain went. But that's also two different artists. So, but
Yeah.
this is simple and effective.
We've seen so many like done in a variation like that. So there was the Ring of Fire. I know Seamus has done a bunch of Blood Moon stuff, and
yes, the Blood Moon is really cool. The most recent one he did.
I can't argue with the art. Art's cool. It's rad. I just don't think it's different enough, I guess. But art-wise, it's cool.
The under is a curious choice.
It's like a tango orange.
Yeah, it seems out of place. I think because the hat is already so neutral, I would just leave it neutral. And even me, I'm like, yeah, give me that pop of color, but there's nothing to tie in that orange.
Yeah.
For me though, I think this would embroider really nicely. These like circular designs look really good, and I think this has like that Rick Clifton like 14/8 simple and effective take on it. Love the gray button. I love a mismatch button like that. I think that adds a little bit of spice personally. But this is pretty cool. I think this will probably go through. In my opinion,
I see more like you said Clifton. I see more like kind of Seamus in that there's no like outlines. Everything's like kind of fine line, kind of ink blotchy, like that kind of thing. But it is in a perfectly round symmetrical circle. I don't know, but the dark side, it could be a reference to the other side of the eclipse potentially. Maybe that's why he's got that orange in there. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Without getting in his head, it's just all speculation. But I think it's a cool design nonetheless.
It is.
All right, moving forward. I kind of leaked it by accident, but number 4, Crystal Kong Raphael is back. I think he had like a Diamond Kong going to pre-order last week. Now we're back with the crystal. So this one is a little bit more
Indiana Jones, Crystal Skull. That's what this reminds me of.
Yeah, but I'm just saying like it's just a little bit more correct, I would say, in terms of like the accuracy of the skull. This looks like an actual gorilla skull. So I do have funny enough, I do have a specialist in anthropology, so I did spend my time, a lot of spare time. Not spare time. A lot of my schooling was around looking at different like ape skulls and studying the differences. I think he nailed the skull here.
So anatomically correct would be the word, right?
Yeah, I think so. It's missing like a big sagittal crest, but it could be a female, so that's why it doesn't have that big brow ridge, and doesn't have that pointed skull that typical gorillas and chimpanzees have. But otherwise, the rest of it, I think he really nailed the proportions of the big old eyes with the long snout, canines. I think the teeth are correctly. 4 incisors, and then the canine. Yeah, he nailed it.
This is really cool, especially if they don't embroider the black sections and there's like this utilization of negative space. I'm a big fan of these kind of ideas where like you have this like depth to it as well.
I still think they can raise the other portions and then make the blacks flat. You can still embroider it black. So in the future, if you do need to change that color, it'll be there.
Yeah. Because you can even, in my head of seeing this, like if you leave these black sections flat and no embroidery and you raise everything else, it'll actually look like a skull, like the eyes being hollow, the nose being hollow, and give it depth. I think that would be really cool. I also love mint and teal. So this is really sick, and on a black colorway.
Yeah, Tiffany blue ish.
Hmm.
My only concern with leaving the black portions unembroidered is you might see the seam peep through. But I
Oh yeah,
think you should still embroider it. Just do it flat.
just do it flat. Okay, because I like that depth and texture. Continually referencing koi,
Mhm.
they did it with these little like water. Would be the word ripples,
Yeah,
where it's like this use of negative space, and I think that is really really cool to see when it's done really really well. But
yeah, hell yeah,
I like this. This is in my personal color palette. I'd rock the living hell out of this.
yeah. Might be 2 weeks in a row for this guy to do like the different gemstone Kong stuff, but
I mean, Diamond
good
Kong
for him.
slapped. So,
Yeah. Oops. I keep double clicking. Flame faced page reception. Kyle,
dude, this is a 10 out of 10.
you like it?
Yeah, that is a awesome bird.
Mhm.
I don't actually know what bird it is, but it's.
I would assume because he's usually right on. It's like that's what it is. It's a flame faced bird. I think.
Mhm.
I bet you if I Google it, which I will in a second, um, it's an actual bird. But give me your thoughts on it while I research.
This will embroider ridiculously well because the lines are so thick and all of the use of color is so like thick
Yeah.
that this is one of those instances where like the digital concept to physical product will look almost identical. And this is all, it's also in a very like easy wearable colorway, gray, black, red. I think this is technically Misty Morning. Um, this is cool. And like everybody in Clink loves birds.
Yeah.
That's like a definitely like a big theme. And then I think even Donnie Creature said this is like, oh, page perception. You always get something from page perception, or it was like in reference to him doing birds. It's like, oh, when I see page perception do a bird, like I'm picking it up.
Mhm.
And I think this demonstrates some very technical understanding of how to make a design that will embroider extremely well.
Yeah.
You know,
So it's the flame face tanager. See, I told you.
Yep.
I already knew. Like it's going to be accurate. It's going to teach you something about an animal that you don't know about. Decreasing in terms of its population, which unfortunately is not good, but moist mountain forests such as the eastern Andes from Venezuela south through to Peru. So the bird looks like pretty much like how he has it.
wow.
And well, I mean, not obviously, but
He
like
added in some wisps to make it look
yeah. So
plain.
there is like a gradient. So it starts red, super close to like the pinch of the beak, and then it goes to yellow, almost orange, and towards the back, it gets like neon green, which is pretty freaking awesome.
Cool.
Yeah. So it has like, yeah. So the blackish beak, the little black kind of thing through, and then it just fades to like a yellow and goes back down yellow again. It's
That's
pretty
awesome.
awesome.
Here, let me look
Yeah,
this.
and then that white streak is like neon green in real life, which is freaking crazy.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I see it. I think the white streak was chosen to not have
Break it up.
to break it up.
Yeah,
And I think that's also technically no fire. It's reverse. It's like white.
yeah,
Yeah, it's reverse, but I think it just makes it the color palette work. But
yeah. And
yeah,
like you said, bird wise, he's done some epic ones. Flicked Off, Bitter Birds are some of my favorite. And then he did one that called Painted Perch, which kind of reminds you a little bit of like this kind of like bird in like paint, kind of flowy. This one's like flamed.
Oh yeah, I see this.
Yeah.
Painted perch. This is cool. I like this
Yeah.
with the drippiness to it. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. This is kind of like that. So it's like realistic, but I'm going to teach you something about a bird that you never ever heard about and still be cool because it can work off the pun.
Mm-hmm.
It just hits all the markers.
I think this would end up being like a Clink classic, to be honest. This will come out so crazy good in hand, like even with all the little like textures and little flame style wisps on the outline and in the black. And because of everything being so thick and bold, like this will look, I will put money on it that the physical product, if this hat goes to production, will look identical to this, just with embroidery.
Yeah. I can see them using like a real thick raised
Mm-hmm.
kind of embroidery pattern. Yeah, he nailed it. Is a good
Yeah.
one. All right. Number 6, Sparta. So, to give you a little bit of a background, Heliel Studios, I believe. Where the heck is he from? He's from Europe somewhere.
Cool.
So he had a collab way back in the day with a guy named Luis Mendoza.
Mm-hmm.
They made a similar pose for the Sultans of SWAT. So it was like a dude wearing like a turban.
Yes.
Oh, he's from the Netherlands. That's where it was. So
Mm-hmm.
Dutch, Holland. He's Dutch and from Holland, also known as the Netherlands, but
Mm-hmm.
Sparta. So yeah, so it looks like he's continuing that series. The Sultans of SWAT was the original one. So kind of similar pose, but just with a dude wearing a turban because he was the Sultan.
Mm-hmm.
This one is the Sparta. So we got the warrior here, kind of just ready to charge. What are your thoughts on this? First, on the movie 300, cinematic masterpiece, and
Oh my
this
God, I know.
Sparta.
The movie that probably helped catapult Gerard Butler's career.
Yeah.
Because I think that was the first movie that I remember him being in. And then I went back and watched Reign of Fire. And I was like, oh my God, Gerard Butler and Christian Bale are in this.
And Cersei from Game of Thrones.
Yeah. That's right. And that's right. She plays the Queen of Sparta.
Yeah.
Now, when I look at this, there is like this classic kind of aesthetic to this, like almost like what would you call it? Like a cartoon style from like a couple of decades ago.
Like
I didn't want to,
like a Looney Tunes almost.
yeah, like a Looney Tunes kind of vibe.
Yeah.
There's always a part of me that is very critical of hyper thin lines, but I mean, looking at Sultan of SWAT that has tons of super thin lines, I might have to start retracting my statement about how thin they can get embroidery.
Mm-hmm.
This looks like it would go one of two ways. I don't know if this would be able to compete with what modern 2024 Clink is now. I could be really wrong there and be missing the mark. And maybe there's an entire market of people that love Clink that want something that looks really classic like this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it's bad. I think it has a very specific style, but I don't know if it would be something that I would personally spend money on.
Yeah, so this was the original. So
yeah,
you see how the pose is pretty
almost
much
identical.
The same pose, yeah.
Just in a different theme.
Mm-hmm.
So, and yeah, those lines are tiny. I might have to really stop being so critical of people that use thin lines for Clink, because obviously there's something here. So I think I might be eating my own words right now.
And Babe Ruth, his nickname was the Sultan of SWAT. That's why it's done in the Yankee colorway.
That's
with
awesome.
The pinstripes.
So that's so cool.
Oops. But yeah, that's kind of your look back to look forward.
Mm-hmm. I think just with how Clink is now, I don't know if it would have the same appeal.
That's fair. I think people who missed on the original Sultan might want to jump in, and then the people that copped the original one are gonna want to continue their their collection, because it's smart for clinkers to go back and kind of just make stuff that create a series for yourself, man. Like I think, I think it's smart. Not, I mean, it wouldn't be smart not to do that. Like for him to kind of call back out. As soon as I saw it, I'm like, oh, is this part 2? And part 1 came really
early.
Long, yeah. So
it was early. It's 2020. That was like early Clink 2.0.
Yeah. So it's cool to see him back. So Heliel, good job. And sorry to remember your country of origin off the top. I knew he was from Europe though. Number 7, the dude got the Flamingo Bay. What are you thinking here?
I love this. It's so fun.
Yeah.
This like neon style is really, really cool. I think one
It's a
of
real
the
thin version of it, though. That's my only
yeah.
issue.
I mean, hey, I'm gonna start eating my own words with like being like those lines are really thin. I don't know if it'll look very good because we just saw that in person. I remember seeing this and I ended up really liking it. The one thing, the main criticism is that the surfboards don't immediately read like surfboards.
Yeah,
I think
I'm
that's
with
my
you there.
only criticism. I almost would want to say that you could even just get away extending the palm trees out and maybe just making them a slightly different color so they don't bleed too much into the flamingo and just having
Yeah,
palm trees in the flamingo.
yeah, I'm with you. I would just get rid of the surfboards, go bigger on the trees, and make the trees either a green or a white or however you want to do it.
Yeah.
Um, and this is just a reminder that flamingos have like the weirdest freaking legs too. They
Hmm.
bend backwards, so he has the leg kind of accurate, but you'll never really see a flamingo like just leave his leg up like that. So I kind of just wish he just had the. If you're gonna like express that like pose, just have him have his leg back.
Yeah.
But I mean that's nitpicky shit. It's a cool design.
It is a cool design.
Uh,
And I like the negative space aspect that I'm assuming
yeah,
that's kind of what he's going for is to have this like negative space and that neon light kind of vibe to it.
yeah. I just
It'll look really
worry. I mean, you just had a like an epiphany not to give people shit for having thin lines. I just feel like some of the lines are just too thin. But
Mhm.
you know,
Well, and
I'd love
also
to be
very
proven wrong.
small.
Yeah, yeah. But I love to be proven wrong. I could be wrong, but just offer if I would beef up the lines. But yeah, good job, Flamingo Babe from the dude.
We love the dude.
Immortal Crown, Point X Co. What are
This
your
is
thoughts here? So we got some Vegas golden walnut. It looks like.
yeah, Vegas gold walnut on gray. This is pretty cool. I know it's a big, almost like a meme at this point of skull fatigue.
Mm-hmm.
I know that's like a big meme for Clink. I think this is one of those instances where I actually wouldn't be super against having skulls here. The way they did the hands, man, that hand holding the crown is really cool. It looks really, really nice. Even the bend on the thumb on the top part there looks really cool. I like that the skull's missing a tooth. Very striking. I just wonder, is it enough? Like, is there enough going on here? You know, I think it needs a potential like little pop of color. I think if there were like little gemstones in the crown just to give it a little bit of spark of color
Mm-hmm.
and not have it be so neutral in the design, maybe. But then we saw Dark Side, which was entirely neutral and it looked really good.
Yeah.
So yeah, maybe I'm
Just
being too nitpicky.
I'm having a hard time wrapping my head around this. So like the gray in the skull is completely different than
The gray on the hands.
the gray on the hands. I mean, if they're bones, they should be the same color. I know that's kind of nitpicky. And then the gold off the crown has no contrast to the crown of the hat. It's just
Mhm.
Vegas. So I think there's like elements that are cool. I mean, like if you just want to make a rad skull wearing a freaking crown, I think you could just do that without having
The hands.
the floating hands.
Yeah. I get the idea of like wanting to put someone's placing the crown on the head,
Mm-hmm.
but I think if you just got rid of the hands, made the crown like metallic gold, to be honest, instead of doing
Yeah.
gold rush, make it
You can go
metallic gold.
silver. You can go
Yeah.
silver.
Or silver. And then inner working
Some gems.
some gems. And then that ends up being your pop of color to break up how like neutral this is.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would end up looking really cool.
Yeah.
I will give them credit though. These bone hands look really really good. And if you could repurpose them as like for something else like that art asset for something else, yeah, these look awesome though. So I got to give a lot of credit for how cool those hands look. I just don't think they have a place here.
Yeah, definitely. All right, let's move forward. We got Bone Collector.
It's Heather and Donnie.
Creatures. I think they just spelled his name wrong. Yeah.
Mhm.
But yeah, The Bone Collector. I guess this is a little bit of social commentary, a little bit of humor.
Mm-hmm.
I like me. I love skulls, so I'm not mad at it. The Vulture, right? He's a
Mm-hmm.
vulture.
The Vulture.
This is cool. Like I almost feel like this is almost a disservice doing this on a hat. I feel like this should be like a T-shirt or something
There's a lot
of
of
detail.
detail and
Yeah.
definition, and my first thought is like, will it translate?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but there's a lot of really cool little bits and pieces and detail, and that's my first thought is like, will this translate? This would look sick on a t-shirt.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
This
I
almost
love this colorway though. Stone, burnt wood, and kind of
rust.
like rust. I just made a hat with this with Houston, on a Houston hat, and it had hints of metallic red. It really
Ooh.
worked well. Yeah.
Ooh.
I used a lot of like browns and ivories and stuff in the logo, and I just have like just touches of metallic red.
Have it pop.
Raw. Yeah, I love this colorway.
This is a smooth.
I like the art. I think it's funny. I think you can get away with having less skulls. Just
Maybe
have
just
less skulls
one.
and making each one bigger or something. You know.
I
Yeah,
think
or
it would
have
be
a
cool
couple.
if it was like one skull and that's what it's sitting on, but I guess the idea is like it's collecting, so there
Yeah.
should be many.
Yeah, but some of them are the freaky like baby skulls too. Like
Yeah, these little tiny ones.
yeah,
This
I
is
don't know.
I give credit to both of them. This is really, really, really cool, and it would look really, really good on a t-shirt. But I don't know if you could get that much detail and definition in embroidery. Like some of that stuff on the backpack is like really thin and fine,
Yeah, I worry about the teeth in the
and the
skulls.
teeth. Yeah, those little tiny teeth marks. But you never know. I mean, Casey.
Yeah, we'd love to be wrong.
Yeah, Casey is really good at digitizing stuff. Like he'll make it, if it can be done, he'll make it work somehow.
Mm-hmm.
So I foresee this going through. To be honest, I see this voting very well because it's so just in your face and how cool it is.
Is there enough contrast from the skulls to the crown? You think?
I think so, because I think this is chrome. It's either chrome or stone. I think this might be chrome.
It looks like stone to me.
Either way,
because it's
not
almost Vegas gold.
Yeah. Either way, though, if the skulls are just embroidered flat white on top of either chrome or stone, like there'll still be enough color contrast because it'll be a few shades off, and then with the black around it, it'll help it pop. Yeah. I think it'll look pretty good. It's a very earthy fitted.
It's funny too. It's almost like the body of an eagle. He's turned to a vulture or like a condor or something. I don't know. I don't exactly know which bird it is, but it's rad.
Yeah, I'm not studied up on my bird knowledge. So I can't really tell. I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be a vulture, but
it kind of looks like a bald eagle though. That's the thing.
It could be.
The beak and all that suggests it's a vulture. But just the body shape
reads eagle.
Reads eagle to me.
I think you can kind of see like the vulture baldness because there's like a little bit of pink around the eyes.
Yeah.
So you can kind of see it a little bit. I think the goggles kind of skew how you read it.
Yeah,
this is cool.
It's interesting. Yeah, see, like to me,
excuse me.
This makes me think. I'm pretty sure it's a vulture. I'm gonna say, but like this.
Oh yeah, totally.
Like an eagle. The yellow hands.
Oh yeah.
The pink makes me think it's an eagle. Makes me think it's a vulture. Here we're analyzing freaking.
It's part of the fun.
See, like this to me is the typical plumage of a vulture, which doesn't make me think that is what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
it's
see it.
solid brown.
Yeah.
So
Maybe give it a little bit more of like a gradient color scheme, kind of going down to that darker brown.
yeah,
Kind of help shift it up a little.
condors are just freaking
Ugly.
disgusting. So it's
They're
not a
just,
condor.
mm-mm.
These things are awful. What the heck?
I know. They're beautiful because they're huge, but man, they definitely have a face only a mother could love. But as like a
Yeah.
creature of nature, seeing a
De-
California condor in person, their wingspan is gigantic. They're
yeah,
huge.
yeah. He definitely needs a manscape.
Yes.
Oh, this was that funny. This was that infamous picture that everyone's arguing about.
Was that the you traced this debacle?
I haven't looked too much into it. So okay, so my initial thought is you shouldn't trace, but then other artists have said like, well, you got to use a reference. So he's just used a reference picture. So
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I don't know enough about either side to. I can't draw, so
Me neither.
so there is nuance to the argument on both sides, and hopefully we can get this squared away. So I do not like the public bickering. But yeah,
Yeah.
but yeah. Let us know in the comments, Heather. I know you watched the show. Is this an eagle? Is this a vulture? Did you just make up a bird?
Please let us know.
We need to know. Yeah,
We need to know.
sightings. Okay. Heather staying hot back to back entries. This is kind of like a death moth, kind of almost Terminator moth, ready to kill you type hat. It's I got that Terminator 2 colorway. You know the different like pewters and blacks and reds. What are your thoughts?
So this is where we have a little bit of that crossover with MEC.
Yeah.
I talked about this one on MEC. I think it's supposed to be Mothman. So Mothman sightings.
Okay.
This is so good. This is ridiculously good because it gives me that kind of like almost like Rick Clifton adjacent kind of vibe.
The less is more. Yeah.
The less is more. There's
Yeah.
no outline. There's a use of negative space. Those red eyes in the middle immediately draw you to the center of the image. It's balanced really well. And then if you get in pretty close, you can see that there's kind of like these like little graphite lines, like these little touches of like this really dark gray to kind of help round out the image. This is really cool. And this is one of those ones where it'll embroider like really, really nicely. I think this is some A1 clinkage from Heather.
It's just her flexing her styles now. It's like, look, I can go from this eagle skull bird thing to just this less is more kind of
showing the range,
omnipresent. Yeah, like crazy pick. Like, yeah, nailed it. Good job.
Yeah, this is so good.
All right, so Seamus. Oh wait, Seamus has rebranded to Bull Props. That's what Seamus is now.
Wait, really?
No, that's not right?
Yeah, that can't be right.
Okay, all right. We're just gonna assume that's a clerical error.
Yeah.
Rave Squirrels by Seamus the Skunk. So, have you been to many or performed many light shows in your time?
Yes.
Okay, you have. Okay.
Yes, definitely have been a raver kid since I was like 15. So
did he nail the light?
Yes,
I feel like he did.
Yes, like a long exposure kind of vibe to it. I thought this was just really funny. I didn't even know that they would be bioluminescent squirrels. I didn't even know that was a thing.
I don't think that's a thing. I just think he just was playing with the idea of whatever rave squirrel means. I mean, I can look it up.
I think I remember him like putting on the post that like there was such a thing as like bioluminescent squirrels. Okay. Either way, this is one of those. Oh, this is where Clink gets the criticism for making really loud, crazy hats.
Okay.
And I like it. I think it's funny. I would wear this. It hits home because of just like how I grew up being like a raver kid, and I think this is hysterical. I love the super neon colors, like the blue outline, the long exposure camera style with the light trails and stuff. And black on graphite is a super spicy two-tone with the button matching the UV. Like this is like this is color. This is the type of color blocking, maybe not necessarily this pink, but doing like crown and then the brim two-tone, but then having the UV matching the button. Like that's a type of color blocking I would use for like even like doing sports caps. That's like a type of color blocking I really like.
Yeah, so I looked it up. Squirrels at a rave equals divergent thinking. That space where you are looking at a problem and can see the maybe infinite possibilities on how to solve it. Did not know that was a thing. I guess
Did not know that was didn't know that either.
Squirrels at a rave. That's cool.
Huh. Let me see. I wanted to see this too, if this is a real thing. Luminescent squirrels. Flying squirrels in North America glow bright pink under ultraviolet light, a phenomenon known as biofluorescence. So North American flying squirrels have biofluorescence.
Interesting. Okay.
So it is based on like a real animal, and when it is shined under black light, it actually looks almost like this, like the blue and the pink.
That's crazy.
It was just really cool.
Okay. Well, we learned something today. Thank you, Seamus. Rope-a-dope. Looks like they are back. The original Playing Possum, Fake It Till You Make It, was pulled. So it looks like they have come back with a 2.0. Rope-a-dope. This is definitely not how to perform the rope-a-dope to get knocked out. Yeah. What do you think here?
I wish the face read more like a possum. Everything else
almost
reads
like
possum.
a raccoon, right?
Yeah, it doesn't read possum, which sucks because Fake It Till You Make It was so good that they had to pull it, and I know why, unfortunately. But I really wish this read more like a possum because I love this color. What is this? Is it supposed to be graphite with like this pastel-y pink?
Yeah, like a pink rouge.
Yeah, it would look so cool. This is like a really fun design. It pops really nicely against the crown. I like the little swirl here, the little confusion swirl. I think is really cool. The boxing gloves are really good. It's just the face doesn't necessarily read possum to me, unfortunately.
Yeah, I'm with you. With that, it's just a rad design.
It is.
To me, it looks like a mix between a cat and a raccoon. I
Mm-hmm.
mean, the possum tail is obviously there, so you think possum, but yeah, I'm with you. The face doesn't necessarily read possum, and then the name Rope-a-dope, it kind of works against it a little bit because Rope-a-dope is like what Muhammad Ali was doing to try to make someone tired, not to get actually knocked out. But, you know, I think it's a cool concept. Like, I like the original one a lot. Unfortunately, it got pulled. So this is kind of like their stab 2 at it. So, cool piece.
Cool piece.
Klinkos Soundwave.
Yes.
This one's kind of rad. So
sick.
He doesn't have any outlines on this. I'm fascinated by people who draw without outlines. What's your thoughts on this one?
This is a sick food hat.
Yeah.
He, when I was talking to Zach, when he and I were originally going back and forth about Setsubun, he sent this to me, and it was just the purple marshmallow with the milk background. And he's like, there's no way you're not going to get this. And I was like, I literally have no idea what I'm staring at. And he's like, he kind of pitched it to me. And then I was like, well, what if you add in some O's so it reads more like cereal? And then he did another version with the 2 O's, and then the pencils were actually another blue Kong marshmallow, and then he redid it again with the classic like older Clink logo as the other marshmallow.
Yeah.
And like there's no way this isn't going to be a hit. Like, in my opinion, there's no way this isn't going to be a hit with like people that love Clink. Like, I think this is so cool, and it's such a interesting way to tackle like a Kong almost.
Yeah.
I think this is really, really cool. I hope this goes through, and I really hope this is his second through to the shop.
This one would be real cool if they get like the the milk to be like semi-raised and then the other pieces to be really raised. This
Mhm.
would also work well as a side patch, and then just doing that kind of C logo maybe on the front.
Oh, that would be
Isolated
cool.
would be fucking badass. I like it. I don't know if I love the under being that Vice electric blue,
Mhm.
but other than that,
I
did a good
am
job.
I'm rooting for this so
Yeah.
hard. And then the little touch too, there's like some little like light blue shadowing to kind
Yeah.
of demonstrate of like, even this blue marshmallow kind of like seeping into the milk a little bit. Um, but I think this is such a cool, unique way to tackle a Kong in a sense. And
How
like just,
badass? Oh, go, sir. Go ahead.
oh no, go. No, please.
I was gonna say, how badass would this be as a side patch, and then out of the milk spells Clink or something, like just in the corner, just literally slightly,
Oh, that's
almost like it was like
cool.
written in like a
Like,
pencil with a little
oh,
milk almost. Like it just says the Clink Room or Clink or something like that, and then just on the front. Because I've never seen a console like it would probably work too. I'm just thinking
mhm,
out loud. Like you never really see logos like with so many like elements. I just feel like it's kind of busy. I do love the art, so I would just
mhm.
I'd repurpose this as a side patch and then just have one of these things
One of the marshmallows be the.
isolated to be just the front logo.
That's cool. Well,
Yeah.
if Casey watches the show and this goes through,
We'll
well,
see.
there you go. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. I mean, it would be a great 2.0 to this if it makes it. If it doesn't make it, then you can, do it that way. But
I
um,
like that.
I,
I'm
I
gonna
just
keep
think,
that.
like sometimes the artist, the patch now is like this whole other canvas or this whole other piece of storytelling you can do to incorporate and kind of expand on what you have. I feel
Mhm.
like some people look at like side patches and they're just so against them, but like I mean, just use them to your advantage, man. Like this is an excellent piece. It's a cool piece that could stand on its own, but
Mhm.
this as a side piece and then just have one of these things kind of really take home and beat down the point. I think like
That could be cool.
yeah,
I'll tell Zach.
yeah.
I
Tell him.
know him. I'll tell him,
Yeah.
and I'll tell him to watch this too.
Yeah, that's just how I would like. I just see it doing so much better.
If it
It will be
doesn't go
badass
through,
as a front too. I'm just saying if it don't work, like
yeah.
that could be like an alternate way to do it, and
If it
just having
doesn't
it
go
spell
through,
out clink,
mhm.
like just kind of messy, just like sideways on the side there,
Mhm.
kind of from the milk. Just put the clink room or clink or something in milk. It was cool.
That would, that's I can see. I
Yeah,
can see. This is, yeah. That's cool. That's a
yeah,
fun idea. I really hope this goes through. If it doesn't, that's definitely something that he can redo and repurpose as to this to just have like a cereal side patch and then one of the marshmallows up front. I think this would be badass.
yeah, definitely. All right. 14 unfinished business. Preacherzoid. They just been shortening his name. And 14.8, you brought him up. Almost
Yes.
like it's like a Fallout bull. Was it Fallout?
Yeah. Fallout.
Yeah, Fallout. I was gonna say Fallout Boy, like a band, but it's got like that Pit Boy, Fallout kind of old
It's like a
cartoon.
1940s kind of
Yeah,
like cartoon style. That's why I love 14.8.
yeah. I
It's
would hate to be a ghost and have to still work though, by the way. But I mean, it is a cool concept, unfinished business.
the pun is A1, and that's
Hmm.
definitely all creature working off the puns really well.
Hmm.
Um, I love this. I think this
Yeah,
is cool. It almost it kind of reminds me of like a 1940s-esque version of Ghost Boy.
yeah,
Like a very stylized, like really early Disney Ghost Boy. I like the expression on the face. I think this is cool. I think it would embroider really crazy, considering you could have this teal backdrop that'll be flat. Maybe these little stars are kind of raised, and then you just raise the whole ghost. Like I think this would look really cool in hand. And there's just enough little detail to kind of send it on home.
yeah.
So if someone asked, you'd be like, "Oh, it's unfinished business," because he's a ghost.
I was don't know if I like his expression because he's like a ghost that has to work. Looks a little surprised. I don't know. Maybe I'll just make him either more determined. I think. I don't know. Just this thought, like of just dying and then having to work in as a ghost, is just like a nightmare. Like you just get no rest. Just like, all right, time to go to work now that you're dead.
Oh no,
Yeah.
I'm
Oh
gonna be
no, I have to go to
late.
work. Yeah.
I gotta go to work.
Yeah. So I think I just make him a little bit more like either fierce or kind of pissed off or make a little bit mischievous, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah,
Whatever.
shift the expression.
Yeah. Yeah. But cool concept for sure.
Mhm.
Great job, guys. Roll the dice. Clinker Magnus.
So
This thing is
cool.
insane. This thing is crazy.
It
What are your
is.
thoughts?
I know this. They changed the name. It was supposed to be a Squid Game reference. So Squid Game. That was the
okay.
original intent. I'm assuming.
And that's the
changed
colorway of Squid Game too.
I think they changed the name, obviously, for super clear reasons. They can't call it after a protected IP like that, otherwise they could get in trouble.
Yeah.
This is so banana ham sandwich in terms of like a design and concept. Like after having Koinobori in hand from Magnus, I fully have faith that this would be so cool in hand if it can be done correctly. I think my only concern are the little sucker cups.
Yeah.
The little sucker cups, like how defined you could really get those. But other than that, this is so cool. Like I love this like hot pink. The pseudo skull is really, really cool and striking. The dice, I would almost have to be a little bigger, I think, in order for it to be well defined, especially with the dots on the dice.
Yeah.
Like if the dice was twice the size, where it's a little bit bigger and more bold, it'd probably read a little bit better. And then just the suction cups. I don't know how clean you can define those little suction cups. But this, to me, if it doesn't go through, like this would also make for like a banging t-shirt idea.
Yeah, or a good pin.
Yeah, or a really good pin. But what about you? What are you thinking?
So my concern with this is like there's just so much chaos, but then it's just symmetrically even. I almost want more chaos, like make the hands just moving it or the tentacles move in a different direction, or just to keep it so that it's not a straight.
So it's not so asymmetrical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then his tentacles, or her, however he wants to identify themselves, the front tentacles are much smaller. They're not even the front ones. They're kind of like the front mid, but like they're just so much shorter and thinner than the other ones. So that kind of is a little bit confusing. I don't know. Maybe just change the perspective of it a little bit. So, like, I'm one that doesn't like super symmetrical, asymmetrical logos. Some people like it. I just feel if you just change the perspective and kind of just make it like a squid kind of converging on a thigh piece, maybe.
Oh,
you would lose the whole thing, I guess, but just turning it a little bit and rotating it.
So it's like diagonal, and it's like
diagonal, but then the skull is kind of pointing up, and then just having the wispiness of the tentacles kind of just almost taking, like
trying to grab the dice.
Yeah, it feels a little weird to describe it, but you know what I mean? It's like
no, I do.
Taking it.
I can totally see what you're getting at.
I think that's where I would go with it, just to kind of like this feels like it's like a German death metal merch piece, I guess. And I feel like people should be singing "Du Hast" to this or something. I don't know, but like it's rad. It's cool. I just don't know what the heck I'm looking at. That's all. And then in the craziness, you could see that it's just like perfectly symmetrical. I don't know. It's like there is like a coolness to it, but then there's also like I wish there was a little bit more chaos. Like give me a little bit of chaos here. Like
I like it. I think that's a fair criticism.
Yeah,
I think it's a very fair criticism.
I mean, as is, it's good enough to go.
Oh yeah,
to take it to that like 11, Like he's shaped like a squid too, but it's not completely clear.
Mm-hmm.
So
I think the name, the original name, it's really helped sell it a little bit more.
yeah,
But because it's a Netflix TV show, there's definitely this like, we don't want to get sued, so we can't necessarily call it that. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So I think the name really helps sell the idea. And now that the name has changed, it may not be as clear.
What was they did play some type of dice game, right? But it was multiple dice, right? It wasn't just one.
I think so. It's been a while since I watched
Yeah.
the first season of Squid Game. I don't know if they did multiple seasons. It
Not
just like
yet.
blew
They're
up out of
filming part
nowhere.
2.
Oh, they are? Okay.
Yeah. They also did like a real version where real people competed.
I know they actually turned it into a game show. Obviously, far less murder, because we're not into a futuristic dystopian society yet. But
I feel like his numbers are a bit. I don't know. Maybe not. The dice numbers check out, but
those little details that matter.
I see some people have it that 3 should be a 5, but and in other references, I see it being accurate. So I'm not sure. I had to pull out the actual dice. But yeah,
I get what you mean, though. Like making it less asymmetrical, and this idea of like having it being descending upon like a dice, because you can still keep that like shiny outline. Like I can see there's that like almost like a sunburst outline on it, and have the dice be kind of a little bit more centered, but like the tentacles reaching down to grab it, to pull it up. Exactly. I can see it.
Exactly. All right. Yeah, we're getting on 2 hours. We gotta hurry up. We still got 4 more to go. King Bully.
Oh man, this is a W.
Yeah, he got that like J. Cole, Jean-Michel Basquiat crown.
Dude, this is sick.
Yeah, I think it could do without the crown. I also don't mind it there, so I'm good either way. But yeah,
I think it works. I think it helps sell the idea. Fuji colorway. Yeah, always good. Gray, black, pink.
You might use pewter though, but yeah, it's close.
It's close enough.
Yeah.
Ink Parker Co. has been growing on me more and more too. He creates logos that look like they could be for like a really high-end streetwear brand. Like there's stuff that I've seen him do
for a long time.
Yeah, like
I see for high-end streetwear brands. Yeah, like that's his thing. That's his whole jam. Yeah.
And it obviously there's a very good technical skill here. And then talking about not keeping things so perfectly asymmetrical, like the crown is like a slightly different on one side, you know, the color blocking, the tooth and the mouth, it has this like really cool, like just has this really cool face. And like, man, dude, this is so good. And if you own a bulldog, like there's no way you're not getting this. Like,
this looks like Pierre's dog.
Yeah.
Lola.
Man. Does Pierre have a bully?
English bulldog. Lola.
But
yeah, like I was saying, like there is some like beauty in the imperfectness of the logo, just to have it slightly slanted or have a piece bigger than the other. Like I don't know. To me, like I like stuff like that. I don't like it when it's surgically precise. Yeah. I like a little bit of chaos in my life. So
yeah, perfectly imperfect.
Here you go. Pure pressure.
Oh, Phil Hauser.
Yeah.
Phil Hauser. Touching back on this earlier, Phil Hauser is also one of those artists where if you just showed me an image,
you can tell.
You can tell. Like the way he does facial expressions is very, very specific.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. And I think we kind of touched on this on MEC, but him leaning into a more ferocious idea with the shark and the teeth and the blood, and he's this more like ferocity. There we go. Furiosity to the concept is like really, really cool.
I just like how he's like, his stuff just has so much personality. So he's like on the pier, he's chilling, He's got this guy in his ear, kind of telling him to do stuff. The only thing I would change is I would just have him have that like little fish guy kind of off to the side. Either he's standing on the pier and like whispering into his gills, or like on his head, because like sharks always have these like freaking like little sharks around them, like either cleaning up or doing this stuff. So like I would have him like just kind of like being like on him, or like just like kind of whispering at him. Because like I don't know, I just think it's like this is an awesome drinking drinking the drink out of
the helmet,
the explorer's helmet. His like face is bloodied up, almost like just messy lipstick. I just think it's a hilarious piece. But I would just the floating fish guy, I would just have him just kind of standing somewhere, or just on the shark, just kind of whispering in his ear. I think that would take it up a notch.
Because that's the symbiotic nature of like some fish with sharks, is they come in and they pick all the gunk out of their teeth, and that's how they eat. But then the sharks have clean teeth. Like,
exactly.
I mean, I would even dare to say too, maybe it wouldn't read as well, but just having the shark on the pier could even work as a standalone. You may not even necessarily need
you don't need to just do
either.
The peer pressure thing. It's just a shark that is chilling now.
Because it almost looks like the pier is bending, like applying pressure and like bending downward. And
it's like a hammock.
Yeah. But
I like
man,
this one. I like this one a lot. This is a hard week, man. This is what happens when you take weeks off and the good stuff just kind of rises. We have one that just landed with Phil that was like an original Clink, kind of like one that just never made it. And we got it made, and I cannot wait for people to see it. Like,
wait for capologists.
I feel like we've kind of elevated the piece and made it with alternate materials too. And I can't, like, Phil's so fun to work with.
Can I see it? Can you show us? Peer pressure.
Peer pressure. So Tony. All right. So Tony already leaked it. So
he did. I didn't see it.
Yeah. So Tony already leaked it. So hold on a sec.
Let me apply peer pressure.
Yeah. And peer pressure has been applied already. No. Tony leaked it on his birthday. So happy belated, Tony.
Nice. Is Tony a Cancer?
Really.
Is Tony a Cancer too?
Yeah, I believe so.
Is he a July?
Yeah, he just had his birthday. Like literally.
Awesome.
Oops. Yeah, oops.
Oh,
we're going too fast. People are gonna hate that this is like a Game of Thrones. I mean, Lord of the Rings level episode. Hold on.
It's fine.
So there.
Oh man, that's so cool with the velvet.
Yeah, so it's like a suede hat.
Suede.
And this is called the Coffin Canaries. So it's like made to look like it's all dusty, that it's been in the coal mines.
That's so cool.
But yeah, that's the hat.
Yeah, the suede. Wow. And I do recall seeing this. But I didn't clock that the suede on the initial watch. That's so cool, man.
Yeah, so that one's coming very, very soon.
That's great.
But Phil has been a pleasure to work with. We have a couple projects with Clink Room artists kind of crossing over into our world. So,
dude, we love it. I mean, Aurelian does that with Noble North. Like,
so Aurelian is one of them.
All right.
Aurelian, Phil, Seamus, COD, Obvian, like, so we got some pieces coming down the pipe. So
I love it, man. It's just more ways for me to spend my money. Awesome.
Yeah, exactly. Now we're into Point Exco again. So this is, I think, a 3-timer for this week. Point Exco, at least 2-timer. But Soundwave is back now. So love runs deep. So playing in that card theme. What are your thoughts here?
This is super clean. I like the filigree. The little like filigree adds a little bit. You may not even necessarily need it. I think the heart itself will read really nicely. And this playing card angle is really cool. And it's done in a very classic way. Looks like a very classic playing card. I think this would be one of those to where if it hit the shop and it went to order, it would be one of those that would probably sell out on the dead stock depending on how it came out. I think, and I remember talking to like Blaze and Paco when we did MEC the other week and we had them both on, is like sometimes you see something and you're a little on the fence, and then when you see how it comes out on dead stock, you're like, oh no, never mind, I need that, please. As Blaze would say, I got cash.
Yeah, I got cash.
I think this is one of those. I think there's some tiny little details where I would be a little hesitant, but then depending on how it comes out, I'd be stoked.
Yeah. So here's my thing. I like this theme a lot. Me though, I would see this. I would do it a slightly different way. So I would basically try to have a king and a queen card kind of overlapping each other while making this image
scene.
Yeah. So you can almost do like a king of spades and a queen of hearts, or a king of like, or something to kind of make them different. I mean, you can make them same suited too, king of hearts, queen of hearts, whatever. But I would rather see like just two images of playing cards kind of just
like splashed together and like the hands reaching out toward one another.
Yeah, and then just kind of recreate that kind of image. Even the cards can go together. Just make them like two cards kind of overlapping each other. I think that would be like a cool
concept.
Yeah,
I like it.
Yeah, that's what I would do. But cool piece. I like that they use like the typical colors of the cards with the blues and the greens and the reds, and I think they nailed it. But I would just take it that one step up a little bit, but yeah, I think they did a great job. Number 19, Peekaboo. So Rick, we spoke about him, but this looks like that kind of like minor league influence, Peking Alien. I know that we've taken a stab at it with the Peking Reaper, but like that cool kind of thing. I know Chupacabras had one, and I think the creatures, the Binghamton Rumble Ponies, which I think is another Casey and Jason client with Randios, but
and then the Area 51s.
Yeah, the Area 51s. Yeah, that's the original one.
Oh, it is. Okay.
Yeah, the Area 51s would be the first one, and then Binghamton did the creatures, and I think there was another one that did like the Chupacabras or something.
Yeah, for the Copa.
Yeah,
it's one of the Copa teams. Yeah.
So, what's your thinking here?
Well, this is a part 2 to Phantom.
Okay.
This is like a part 2 to
it's
Phantom.
Like the same character, really.
It's the exact same character, but just kind of like coming around the stitching. And I don't know if there's enough going on. The original Phantom was like perfectly simple and effective. But for how simple this character is, I don't know if it's enough.
Yeah.
I think I don't know if it's really enough. I think it'd be kind of cool because in the original Phantom, he's holding like a flag, like one of the fan flags. I think if in this image, he's kind of peeking around the corner and then in his hand had the flag to kind of fill up this space on the left-hand side.
Yeah.
That might have been that +1 to take it over the edge. And then I think also this was a criticism that I heard too, is that the hand doesn't read very well. It looks like a big blob. Just from the perspective.
One thing I would do is I'm with you. We've talked about less is more a lot this episode. You just don't want it to be too
less.
Little, too less. Yeah. One thing I would do is I would do a pun. Now I don't know if this would get approved, but the Joker gun, the gun with the boom.
That's so good. Yeah.
All right. So I would turn this into Peekaboom, and then he's just holding the gun around the corner of the thing. So it's Peekaboom, and That way it's not so simple, because you don't want this to be something that you could just recreate at like a lids or something, like, like, oh, let me just make this on my embroidery machine.
Yeah.
But yeah, I would just do that pose around the door, have him shoot the fucking funny gun, peek-a-boom.
Get like a little confetti spray, and then
Yeah.
like a little flag that reads boom.
Yeah.
Got like an onomatopoeia kind of thing.
Yeah. But then that way you got the pun, you got the +1. He's doing the peeking motion. You're advancing the logo to make it more complicated, and you get to like flex a little bit of your artistic style. But peek-a-boom, trademarked it. Give him my 10% Rick. Well, fixed it. But yeah,
add Leon's name to it.
No,
today.
I don't need to be named on it. Just pay royalties. I'm doing joking. You don't owe me a cent, Rick. But I think that's where I would take it. Like, that's peek-a-boom.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I think that's cool. But yeah,
I don't know if the guns would work. You could just be like a funny gun, like, it doesn't have to look like an actual revolver or nothing. But
no, because I mean, yeah, like as long as it has this like whimsical kind of feel to it, I think it won't have an issue with getting through legal.
And then you could do the confetti in different colors. That way, it's not just black.
Oh, so mono. Yeah, then you can have a little splash of color.
Yeah. All right, Rick. If you want, there you go.
There you go.
Curvy mermaid. All right.
This one made me laugh.
Do you know the story behind this?
Well, it's that sailors at sea would think that manatees were mermaids, right?
Yes.
And that's kind of where the myth...
Allegedly, they would hump them.
Oh, that actually is part of the mythology, too.
You didn't know that?
Wow. No, I didn't know that. I learned something new today.
Yeah, they would be gone for so long. And I think if you look up the anatomy of the manatee private parts, I hear it's... I don't even know how you would look it up, but like
it's like eerily similar.
That's what I heard. So like they were just gone for so long, and they would just get hallucinations apparently, and they were also not well nourished. So this could be part of the scurvy, and it would also be like a way that someone justified doing bad things to a manatee, unfortunately, and then him going back to the people and be like, "Nah, man, I swear I look like a freaking."
No, man, I swear
it was a mermaid, man. Like, yo,
it was a beautiful,
it
was a beautiful woman with a fish lower half.
Yeah,
and her song was amazing. Her name was Stephanie.
Yeah,
I swear.
I don't know what these sailors were doing. I don't know to whom they were doing them with, but this is hilarious. It's a little too real, but I think it's hilarious.
The heart bubble.
Yeah.
The heart bubble is like
you
nice
must have been really desperate.
You know what?
Do bad things to these poor manatees.
When you haven't had enough oranges and the scurvy kicks in, and then you're also just days without food and you start hallucinating. I guess at that point you don't even know what's going on anymore. But design wise, man, this is funny. The seashell bra is so good. And the little like sea kelp and the wispies in the water, like this is
the heart blow bubble too.
Yeah,
come on, man.
The heart bubble really sells it home like it's blowing a kiss. Like there's a lot of character in here. There's a lot of really, really nice little elements in here that the longer you look, the more you're like, oh my God, look, there's that. Oh, look, there's this.
It's just promoting such a creepy thing that
I know.
It's hilarious though.
Like pulled from the history books.
Yeah.
But I think if you were to then explain, being like curvy mermaids, and if you understand the reference, I think you'd get some people a good chuckle.
I totally used the wrong one. Yeah, animal bestiality is not been. We're not promoting that. We are not. That is not funny. It's not something you should do. Leave those damn manatees alone.
Leave those manatees alone. Hashtag.
So we definitely got our watch time up. So I really appreciate you being so gracious with your time. We've been filming for 2 hours.
It doesn't feel like 2 hours to me.
No, that's awesome. That's awesome.
No.
I mean, you're welcome back anytime. You've been great promoting some of my different ventures, and I can never be thankful enough. And just you've been a cool kind of business partner and participant too.
Yeah, man.
In that stuff. So, you know, I'm always going to be grateful to you.
Yeah, no, I'm grateful to you too, man. And I will always say this too, you know, this is about Clink, but like I also love customs. And I, just as much as I try to promote Clink, I also try to do the same thing for Noble North, because I think they're an amazing company and they have something special just like Clink. And then so do you guys too.
Thank you.
It's not just Clink. It is customs, and that's where like a lot of my taste lies.
Yeah, Ryan has forever been an amazing creative force out of Ontario.
Oh man, you know,
fellow Canadian.
Yeah, man. And like, dude, like this is from Aurelian, but like, come on.
Yeah. But I mean, that doesn't happen without Ryan's input and his art direction and his concepts. And I don't know how much or little he plays with the final pieces and he touches it up at all, or if he hands in initial sketches. I don't know exactly their inner workings, but definitely when those two get together, definitely magic happens.
Absolutely. Between what, the owl, the bat, the raven, and the wolf,
the yeti,
the yeti, yeah. And then I don't know,
a bear, a bunch of bears,
and then there's also the mammoth and the Sasquatch. Like, there's just like, it's one of those things where it's like when like there's so much to be offered if you know where to look when it comes to customs. And like, I knew I had to have this one because it's hysterical. It also glows in the dark. So let me shout that out too. But there's just a lot of variety. It's, as much as I love Clink and I am a diehard Clinker, cannot forget to show some love to you guys over at Capologist, which is awesome because Tony lives like 20 minutes from me.
Yeah.
And then also Noble North, because there's crossover with Clinkers. You know, the guys that submit to Clink also, they're now submitting to you, and they also work with Ryan too. So
yeah,
it's I consider it all to be kind of the same ship.
I mean, it's hard to measure where the influence starts and begins and ends, and there's always like players within both, and you know, I mean, like Casey just taught me, like, you know, you cannot treat everything with scarcity, and we're all like kind of playing in the same world, which is awesome.
It's all the same ship. It's just different parts of the ship. That's the way I look at it. Yeah,
exactly. All right. So where can people find and connect to you?
You can find me on Instagram at Mr. Dome Pieces. Look for the blue check mark. I am meta verified. So it's easy to find me.
Perfect. For Taylor and Leon, we out here. Peace.
Peace.
The wind, we swarm like a torrent in the wind. Put your ideas back in the trash bin. Get back with them trash pins. Bees and hornets, wasps ready to strike. It's a